Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed live from Los Angeles. I'm Alex Curry here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys, and happy Friday.
Here we go.
Good morning, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
How you doing today, Alex?
Fabulous.
Good to see you. Thanks for
Great
coming
to
back
see
and
you
joining
guys.
us.
Always.
It's the moment of truth.
It ain't no truth.
Now we find what you're really made of.
What you mean?
And your man, Aaron Rodgers,
Oh,
the LeBron James
No,
of the NFL.
that's the truth.
Yeah.
This one I'm about to give
Overrated.
you has always been the truth, but
Really?
that's the for real,
We'll
real
see,
truth.
we're going to see if you hang in with your conviction here.
Watch what happens on Sunday night.
Yeah. I'll be watching.
Guaranteed.
I won't be watching on Saturday night when St. Nick just rolls over LSU.
Don't do that,
one's
Skip.
out.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. Don't do that. Make sure you're going to put your due where your mouth is.
Here we go.
Woo! Let's start with the big showdown on Sunday night. The Patriots are a 5.5-point favorite against the Packers, and all eyes will be on the two quarterbacks, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Now, Brady and the Patriots are on a 5-game winning streak, while Rodgers and the Packers are coming off a tough loss to the Rams and are sitting at 3-3-1. So, Shannon, what's your pick?
I'm going with the Pack. I thought long and hard with it. I thought long and hard about this. And,
You must have.
Yeah. When I went to bed last night, I was like, man, it's going to be the Patriots. But when I woke up this morning, I saw it so clearly.
What happened?
Yeah.
Did you have a revelation?
It came to me in a
Did
vision.
you have a visit from an angel, or what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah?
St. Rodgers.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Did he?
350, 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
Yeah.
350.
350, 3 touchdowns.
Woo.
You know, I think this is the type of game that the Packers will look back on and says, this was the game that jump-started us in the direction that we wanted to head. They showed me something last week. I always knew what Rodgers could do. He got protected a little better. The Rams with Donald is a different animal. I don't see the Patriots being able to generate that kind of pass rush, Skip, and the Packers D got a lot of hits on Jared Goff. Now, the difference between the Rams and the Patriots offense, the Rams are trying to get big plays, throw the ball over your head, so it requires a 5- and 7-step drop. Tom Brady's looking to get the ball out of his hand very, very quickly. So I don't know. So basically, you know, it's going to be inside Packers. You're going to have to do a good job of getting your hands up to try to knock some of those short throws down. But I think, and if you look at the last 4 games, they've given up 300 yards passing to everybody. Mitch Trubisky went well over 300. We know what Mahomes did. Even though the teams lost those games, I just believe Aaron Rodgers might be the best quarterback of the bunch. Well, I might believe. He is the best quarterback of the bunch that they've faced thus far. And with that being said, Skip, I like him to go in there and pull this upset. I know, Tom Brady is this and Tom Brady is that, and Tom Brady is great.
He is this and that. Yeah, right? Thank you. That guy?
That guy with the green and gold, the real number 12.
The faux number 12?
No, that, Skip. That's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Why, first of all, Alex, why is he talking? You asked me a question. I didn't ask you a question. You want me to answer that? Is that a rhetorical question? No. I'm talking. Please do not interrupt. Reclaiming 20 seconds. This is what needs to happen for the Packers. When they get down to the red zone, you're not beating this team, especially in their building, kicking field goals. You get down into the red zone, you're going to have to cash those in by scoring touchdowns, because you best believe when Tom Brady gets down there, Monday night was an outlier. They kicked 3 field goals into the red zone. That doesn't happen at home. So I'm going to take the Packers. I'll give you my score a little later, but I like Aaron Rodgers, 350 plus, 3 touchdowns, and to win a close one.
So, Alex, you know what's funny about everything he just said?
What's funny?
What?
I don't disagree with the word you just uttered. I thought it was all brilliance from the mind of a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Aaron Rodgers should win this game. Aaron Rodgers has 5 more reasons to win this game than Tom Brady does. There's only one reason that I'm going to stick with Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady. That's it. Tom Brady in Foxborough. That's all I got. You got advantages everywhere except at quarterback, and I'm going to stick with the 41-year-old, even though it's against, I think, long odds, because I still don't know how the Patriots can be favored by 5.5 points. This should be a pick'em game at best.
Well, even though since Tom Brady's been a starter, they've only lost 18 home regular season games.
Thank you for making my case for me.
Yeah.
1-11-18 in Foxborough. That's all I got. Now, that's history talking. That's not now talking. But I look at every advantage for Aaron Rodgers. again, he should win this. He has better receivers than Tom Brady. Tom Brady doesn't have Devontae Adams. He's turned into a top 10, borderline top 5 receiver. He's a stud,
Yeah,
6'3", playing at a very high level.
He is.
And check out Gronk. He missed practice yesterday. We talked about it,
yeah.
huh?
He was limited on Wednesday.
Okay. All right, limited and then missed practice completely. Why? He's got a chronically bad back. It's going from bad to worse. Now he's got an ankle issue on top of that, but I think it's mostly his back. And what did you say after the Buffalo game the other night? He can't lean down, he can't stretch back, so it's got to hit him right here or he's going to have a hard time catching it.
Yes.
So he's become a little bit of a liability for the real number 12 up in Foxborough. And then you look at Jimmy Graham. Again, if I had to pick somebody for this game, I would take Jimmy Graham.
He
He's
missed
playing at
practice
high
too,
level.
though.
Well, he's been playing high level, though.
Yeah, he played well.
I think that's bogus. I don't think there's anything wrong with
You
him.
think it was just a normal rest day?
Yes, I do. And Randall Cobb's playing at a high level, and Geronimo is back, and Aaron Rodgers trusts him. And did you check out those 2 new rookie receivers for Aaron Rodgers against the Rams? Because that Valdez Scantling, these are their 2 draft
Yes,
picks,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then Equanimous,
Yeah.
they're good. They're stud young rookies, a 5th rounder and a 6th rounder. And Aaron Rodgers trusts them. They each caught 2 balls, one for 45 and one for 31. I mean, those were nice little catches. That just creates even more mismatches against a Patriots defense that has been torchable all year.
Right.
You disagree with me on that?
No, it hadn't been, but they normally bow their backs once they get into the red zone because Coach Belichick says, I don't care if you go up and down the field as long as you don't put the ball in the end zone. That's what gets you beat, not yards per game, points per game.
Okay.
And Coach Belichick's defenses normally get stingy once you get into the red zone.
Thank you for bringing up yards per game because I just want to remind everybody that the genius Belichick allowed 538 yards in the Super Bowl. I know it was last year, but
Skip, what does that have to do with this?
I think Dante Hightower is very questionable. He didn't play against Buffalo, and I'm not sure he's going to be back for this one. And he's sort of the quarterback and the lifeblood of the defense, the heartbeat of the defense. And then I look at what happened against Blake Bortles this year in Jacksonville, 480 yards. And by the way, in the Super Bowl, 10 of 16 were the Eagles on 3rd down, and then Blake Bortles went 10 of 14 on 3rd down. Seriously? And then at Detroit, 414 more yards. 7 of 14 was Matt Stafford on 3rd down. Kansas City goes into Foxborough and goes for 446 and scores 31 points in the second half. Yeah. And it required Tom Brady to throw for 182 in the 4th quarter to overcome Patrick Mahomes. Wow. I mean, this is like Tom Brady is winning in spite of.
What?
So against Buffalo, Tom Brady's primary running back was the kick returner, Cordero Patterson. Really? And they got away with it? So they go in there and you say, well, they didn't cash in the red zone. They went 1 for 3 in the red zone.
Right.
Wow, that's terrible.
Well, you know, they know if they go 1 for 3 they'll get blown out because Aaron Rodgers
Well, I
is
don't
that
think
good.
they get blown out.
Well, here's the thing. Sonny Michel.
Yeah.
What's his health status?
I don't know.
It
It doesn't sound that great to me.
Right.
I mean, he's still possible.
Right.
But
what did he say? He was a limited participant?
I guess so. But it sounds like it's going to be a lot of Cordero at running back, and that's just shaky to me because Aaron Rodgers has a legit run game with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams.
Right.
And obviously, Aaron Rodgers threw his other running back under the bus.
No, don't do that, Skip. Don't do that.
And he got shipped out to Baltimore. Good for
Yeah,
him. He
with drop
escaped.
straps.
Yeah.
They traded for 12 drop straps
12 drop
and
straps.
6 Gatorades that had already been drank out of.
But he had fallen completely out of the rotation anyway. He only played 6 snaps against the Rams, so that's no big loss. So all of a sudden, I'm looking at this Packer defense. It's just playing at a higher level than Belichick's is.
You take
realize?
one game.
Okay, they sacked Jared Goff 5 times.
Yes.
And Clay Matthews looked like he turned back into Clay Matthews.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yeah. But here's the thing, though, Skip. As I mentioned before, Jared Goff, they are a 5- and 7-step drop team because they're trying to push the ball down the field. They're trying to throw it over your head. So it leads to more sacks. Tom Brady is trying to get the ball out of his hands as quick as possible, run after the catch. Let me put the ball in Edelman's hand. Let me put the ball in Hogan, James White. I don't want to, because as you mentioned, he is 41. He can't take those licks that Goff took last week against the Packers. So he's looking to get the ball out of his hands. So that's the difference.
So
At least I
also
hope.
possibly missing this game in Brady's offensive line will be Shaq Mason, limited in practice. and Marcus Cannon and Trent Brown is left tackle. They're all beat up. I don't know who's
Everybody's beat up at this time of the year.
I just don't think they're beat up this time of the year. This is shaky at best. And Kenny Clark, have you been checking him out, the defensive tackle, who was their first-round pick 2 years ago in 2016? He had 2 sacks. He has come alive. Did you see Jair Alexander? He is a stud. Belichick went off and raved about him in his press session.
Coach Belichick raves about everybody.
No, he doesn't.
Alex,
he does not rave.
You see what Skip's doing?
You know, I'm just showing you how good. This team is loaded.
No. What you're trying to do is lay the foundation. Now, he mentioned 3 offensive linemen. When is the last time you heard Skip Bayless mention offensive linemen? Because, they're
like
beat.
every day with my Dallas Cowboys, how bad they are?
No.
Connor Williams, how many times have you heard Connor Williams? Get him out of there, as in please bench him?
This is what you're trying to do. You're trying to lay the foundation. Oh, Tom Brady with 3 offensive linemen that are hurt, with Sonny Michel being out, and Gronk just a shell of himself.
Am I right?
That's what the Hall of Famer said. Are you not a Hall of Famer? Are you not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Is this not the truth?
Yes, Skip, I'm in the Pro Football.
Truth. You are in, and these are all legitimate reasons Aaron Rodgers should win this game.
No, you're trying to lay the foundation so when you can come in here on Monday, if the Patriots were to win,
that is correct.
Look at Tom Brady with 3 offensive linemen, with this going wrong, with that going wrong, and a coach that doesn't even want him there, and he still did it. Nah, ain't nobody buying that because they already know.
By the way, the coach did not want him there. He
you
wanted
know
him
what?
going. This should be Jimmy G, and I don't know if Jimmy G would have actually gotten hurt also with New England. Who knows what would have happened, but that's what he wanted to happen.
No, we don't
so
know
Tom
that.
Brady's even fighting against his own coach.
No, he's not.
He's climbing. He's fighting an uphill battle everywhere. The coach has lost his fastball coaching the defense.
No, he has not. Stop saying that.
I just gave you all the yards and all the third down conversions and all the points.
You took 3 games over a 20-year span. Really?
3 games?
Yes.
I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games over just this last half a year span.
What you try to do is take what I did in high school. You try to take all the knowledge that I've accumulated and those 4 failing grades that I got in high school, you trying to hold me accountable for those. But I've done so much more since then, Skip.
I know, but if you had the 4 failing grades right at the end of your senior year, then that's what's happened. You would have lost your fastball.
No, I had some failing grades at the end of the year, but I had enough credit that I could go ahead and get up out of there.
Okay, but you're still you're a young man.
Yes.
You're just getting
Coach
started.
Belichick is a young man. Got another 10 years in front of him to
He
coach.
might. I don't disagree with that. I'd like to see it be elsewhere, but
No, wait a minute.
I already said that.
You talk about the greatest coach that's ever walked the sidelines of the NFL. You want him coaching
you. I'll go.
Says everybody.
I'll go with Bill Walsh any day or night.
I'll go with Coach Belichick.
Well, go ahead and stick with him.
No. You can't say that because what we saw is Joe Montana set a Super Bowl record with points without Coach Walsh. And that, because the same thing that Coach Belichick and Brady
Who
would go.
all those players. Who
Yeah.
picked every one of them. Bill
Coach
Walsh
Belichick. Coach Belichick. I'm glad you said that, Skip Bayless. And he even found an obscure, what is he? He's endomorph? Yeah, he probably endomorph. Tom Brady, little gut, little pear shape.
Yep.
The guy that ran the slowest 40, the ugliest 40 in the history of the combine. He picked him out.
Yeah, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick was so sold on him, he waited until the 6th round to pick him.
Well, Bill Walsh.
If he'd really known, he would have picked him in the 2nd round.
Well, then why didn't Bill Walsh pick Joe Montana in the 1st round? If he was so sure about it.
Okay.
Oh, he didn't.
But then Bill Walsh made him what he became.
But what
Bill Belichick does not coach the quarterback.
he does.
Bill Walsh actually invented a whole offense in which Joe Montana flourished.
He coaches the football team. So if you coach the football team, you coach all the players.
Bill Belichick used to coach the defense. He still does.
What?
I'm serious.
So
Tom Brady coached the offense.
So let me get this straight, just so I'm hearing you correctly. When things go good, it's Tom Brady. When things go bad, it's Coach Belichick. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I'm just spitting facts at you about what's happened to the defense, and Tom Brady keeps overcoming this horrendously bad defense that is 25th in yards allowed.
But what about the pick that they got in the red zone against Kansas City? That was really the difference in the ball game.
Okay, that's a first-year starter who does crazy stuff.
And we're going to talk about this later, who's right now the front runner for the MVP. Yeah, that second-year starter. And as a matter of fact, who did he replace? That's neither here nor there. He happens to be in Washington having a good old time.
I think he's having a great old time.
You think Andy Reid's upset?
He's got the Redskins a lot better than Kirk Cousins ever had them. Am I right?
No, Kirk Cousins
you swung and missed at that one too.
Did first cousin win a division game? I mean, not the division game. Did he win the division? Absolutely he did. And it took Aaron Rodgers going there and doing damage to beat him. Okay, but we're talking about Tom Brady and these Patriots. And what you're trying to do is give yourself an out. Give yourself an excuse. So when Aaron Rodgers and the Pack go up in there and put foots in them, you want to come in here and talk about, well, see, I told you, Coach Belichick has lost his fastball.
I'm trying to frame this correctly and objectively for our faithful viewers so that they can sit back and say, how's he doing
Nobody
this?
care about the frame.
How is he doing
this? The frame
this?
does not make the Mona Lisa. She's beautiful in and of itself, so the frame is unimportant. So we don't need you to frame it. Just go ahead and take this L and be ready to come in here on Monday.
So there's only one negative to your argument.
What?
And you did not mention it, but it was a shocker to me. It was the biggest shock of the past week. And that is that Green Bay at 3-3-1 suddenly decided to ship out their starting safety? I thought he was really playing terrific. I thought he's playing at high level.
Well, actually, Pro Football Focus said he was the second highest rated safety in all of football behind DJ Swearinger, who he joins in Washington.
Clinton Dix is no longer a Packer.
Alabama.
Unfortunately for me,
Alabama.
You can't trust those DBs. Because Nick Saban coaches the DBs and they usually fail.
You just said you like He went to Alabama, coached by Coach Saban.
He is an outlier, an aberration.
What about Landon Collins?
Well, he's pretty good.
Okay.
Maybe safeties do better than corners because you can't find the corners.
They do.
But the point is that just made the Redskins better, which is bad for my Cowboys, but he did not make your Packers, because you're on that bandwagon now, any better. In fact, I think that sent the wrong message to the locker room. That's what I think. If I'm a Packer, I'm saying, man, what are we doing?
Skip, hold up. Can I ask you a question? Why is it that if a coach does something with another team, it sends a bad message? Coach Belichick has cut players 3 days before the regular season. He's traded players, cut players during the season. But that's not a bad message.
He's always had the greatest leader in the history of sports running his locker room, Tom Brady, who continues to quell the mutiny in the locker room by saying, just roll with it. We got to roll with it. We got to do the best we can in spite of him. He does crazy, mad scientist stuff. We just got to roll with it. We got to keep working.
There will be no mutiny because they do not want to walk the plank. They know Coach Belichick don't play.
He doesn't play. Exactly. He can get away with it because he has the real number 12 on the right side of that picture, which is the right side of this bet.
Well,
I'm going to bet on that number 12.
Well, on the marquee, the guy that goes in the front, that's normally the baddest man. Because if you notice, when Floyd Mayweather fight, who names first? Floyd. So in that picture, who's first? The green and gold number 12, Skip Bayless. And after Sunday night, you will realize what millions have already known.
The guy with 1 Super Bowl compared to the other guy with 8 Super Bowls?
So,
I don't know, 8
Coach
to
Belichick,
1?
Coach Belichick, we're going to discuss what people have said, what they know to be true.
So the other thing that happened negatively for your Green Bay Packers was that your quarterback threw Ty Montgomery under the bus. He did. No, he threw him right under the bus. He pointed fingers. He scapegoated Ty Montgomery. You know it. And again, the management felt like, well, we got to get rid of him. Now we got a toxic situation in the locker room because some of the teammates seem to be supporting Ty Montgomery.
Well, first of all, Aaron Rodgers just happened to be driving the bus, and Ty Montgomery ran up under.
Oh, did
so
he?
I can't hold him accountable for that.
And
Ty Montgomery had
Aaron shifted into reverse and backed over him, and then he went into drive, and then he shifted into reverse.
Well, we had to put him out of his misery.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because we wasn't going to go back and forth with him. Told you that the ball's in the end zone, leave it there. Now, there was a report that a Stanford player said that in a bowl game, he had to tackle Ty Montgomery. I don't know how true that is, Skip Bayless, but the word is that he was told, if the ball's in the end zone, leave it. Guess what?
I don't think he said he was not told that. He was told that we're going to return it, whichever it was, right or left. There was a return on.
You know what, Alex? It just so happens I happened to play return. I was on the return team. And we always had a return. It was either left, right, or we go in middle. So no matter what, they kick the ball.
That's complex.
Yeah,
that's deep.
That's simple. Hey,
I don't know if you can remember that.
Exactly. Well, you just had to know the blocking schemes. I'm saying who you were going to block.
Yeah, right.
But it was going to be a left return or a right return.
Yeah.
But anyway, Skip, all he had to do was if the ball hits the dirt in the end zone, hey, officials, blow it dead. But no, what happened, Skip, he was upset that his playing time was cut. He was upset that he was being taken out of the ball game. So guess what he wanted to do? I'm going to show you I'm a playmaker. I'm going to make a play here. You wouldn't let me make one on offense? I'm going to make one right now. And he made a play.
And
it just happened to be for the Rams.
A kickoff that was just about going to hit right on the goal line.
It didn't hit on the goal line,
Skip. Hit a foot inside the goal line.
No, it did, Skip.
He caught it on the move forward, and he did what every special teams coach would tell every kick returner to do. You got to take that one out.
You know what, Skip? Time matter. Context matter. If it's the first through third quarters, absolutely.
Yep.
If it's the start of the fourth quarter, absolutely. But with Aaron Rodgers, you're down a point, and you got the baddest guy gracing the sidelines, playing quarterback. No, you don't do that. You don't rob him of that opportunity. You don't do what they said in Malachi 3.
Yep.
You don't rob him of that opportunity. Even you said it, Skip. Guess what? I went back on your timeline. I said, I'm going to see what Skip said about this. And you said Ty Montgomery robbed us to see Aaron Rodgers get this dub against the Rams. That's what you said.
Are you creeping on my
Yes, I
timeline?
creep. I creep.
Really?
Yes. I went back.
You
That's right.
admitted it publicly.
Yes.
I got you. Thank you.
Yes.
I pushed you so many buttons. You finally just.
Yes, I creep.
You just unloaded.
Because I wanted to make sure. Because you made it seem like Aaron Rodgers threw him up under the bus, but you wanted to see it.
Well, who didn't want to see? I wanted to see whether he could, because maybe he could.
He would have. He wouldn't have got a field goal. Aaron Rodgers going to get that tug.
Oh, okay.
He going to get that tug, go put it in the end zone.
So that just swept under the carpet the fact that in that game, Aaron Rodgers went 2 of 9 on third down. You like that? Will that work on Sunday night? I don't think that'll work on Sunday night.
I mean, hey, but here's the thing. Y'all don't have an Aaron Donald. The New England Patriots don't have an Aaron Donald.
They don't have any of this. They don't even have a Dante Hightower.
So that's what I'm counting on. So as a matter of fact, as you said, since they don't have an Aaron Donald, I'm going to up it. I'm going to say 375.
Okay.
Yeah, extra 25
you could be right against this flammable, torchable defense.
The question is not if I'm right or not.
Be right.
The question is I haven't been wrong.
Another quick stat for you. Since 2007, Tom Brady at Gillette is 74-8. Do you realize those 74 wins are more than 5 teams have had in that span total?
Yeah.
At each of these teams, Tampa Bay, Oakland, Jacksonville, the Rams and Browns. Wow.
And guess what all those have in common? Yeah. QB play has been abysmal.
That's true. So Tom Brady's going to have to do what he does, dink it and dunk it, and it'll be a little Edelman and a little James White and a little
that's
Chris
what he's
Hogan,
always done.
It's just bing, bing, guts it out, key 3rd and 5 throw here, key red zone throw there, and all of a sudden you're going to wake up and say, what was I thinking? I did it again. I bet against the wrong man, because you never should bet against Tom Brady, especially in that stadium.
You're right. And that's what Vegas has made them a 5.5 point favorite, because they don't normally lose there. And I normally wouldn't bet against Tom Brady. But when I got that hand, the hand of hands, I got what they call the best hand in poker, a royal flush.
Okay.
It don't get better than that, Skip Bayless. And guess what?
I think somebody's going to get flushed, and it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. Yep.
And the thing is, I flopped it. I flopped it, Skip Bayless, from the get-go. I got it.
Tom Brady, 30. What's left of the Packers, 28. He'll just devastate them.
We're close. Yep. I got the Packers 31-30.
Okay. Boy, that's not a lot of conviction on your part.
What the, hold on.
That shows real fear of Tom Brady.
Talk about Skip. Yep. The Packers are 5.5 point underdogs. I took the underdogs, to win. And you talking about there's no courage in my conviction. Against a team that has only lost 18 regular season games in 18 years.
I gave you 5 good reasons that your
guys
guys
don't need your reasons. Your reasons is bogus.
No, they're your reasons. You know they're right.
No.
But there's one reason to pick Tom Brady, and that's Tom Brady.
And what's the reason I'm picking the Packers?
I don't know.
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. You're just hanging on to foolish pride. That's all you're doing.
Bam, bam.
Okay.
Shootout.
Really?
Yep.
Well, it's going to be a close one and a fun one Sunday from both your predictions.
And quick. And Aaron Rodgers, quick.
Well,
I'm going to go with Tom Brady.
You don't seem to have real conviction.
I know.
He's trying to talk himself into
what? I know.
Help him. Reinforce him. Tell him he's okay. Tell him it's fine.
It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. But I am going to go with Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. We're moving on. Did John Gruden and the Raiders hit rock bottom last night? We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Hey guys, Jenny Taft here. More of the Undisputed podcast is on the way. But first, a quick word from one of our sponsors. UFC bantamweight TJ Dillashaw loves the fight, loves the strategy, and you know what else he loves? Toyo tires. Because like Dillashaw, Toyo tires are as tough as they come, and they are the official tire of the UFC. There's a lot to love about Toyo tires. Aggressive design, proven on and off-road capabilities, tires for any weather, and the toughness to back it all up. We all know there's nothing worse than being stranded on the side of the road with a faulty tire. There's a confidence that comes with tough tires. So no matter what you're driving, no matter where you're driving, you can count on Toyo tires. Tough people love tough tires. If you're tough, these are the tires for you. Toyo tires. So the next time you need tires, ask for Toyo, the official tire of the UFC. Learn more at toyotires.com/UFC. Now, back to the show.
No mercy.
It was a battle of bad teams last night when the 49ers hosted the Raiders. The Niners looked pretty good behind Nick Mullins in his NFL debut. Mullins threw 3 touchdown passes in the 34-3 win, and Derek Carr was sacked 7 times. The Raiders are now a very disappointing 1-7, but despite all that, John Gruden is still optimistic. Take a listen.
The Oakland Raiders is a great organization. I know it's not looking pretty right now, but I've heard a lot of negativity, over the last 6 or 7 months, and rightfully so. But we're going to build a championship football team here, and I know a lot of people, as players, as fans, and just in general, want to be a part of this. I think the brand of the Raiders is an exciting one, and I think a lot of players, no doubt, do want to play for us in the future. And I'm not going to speculate any further than that.
Shannon, that was a rough one last night. Will Gruden turn this around?
No, and I told you, Skip Bayless, he was caught in the times of 1998, and it's not 1998.
So it's over.
Should
they just fire him today?
Whoa.
Okay.
Not when he, hold on. What are you talking for? Alex asked me. I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you to offer your input on a rhetorical question or anything. This is my time. Let me have my moment. I know you a Gruden supporter, but it's looking real bad.
Well, you were calling me out, so I had to call you back.
The only thing that he's building is a deficit in Mark Davis's bank account because he gave him 10 years at $100 million. And I thought $100 million would buy you a lot. It doesn't buy you what it used to, I guess, especially wins. Now, I can assure you, when Mark Davis came to interview for this job, even if he did interview, he mentioned nothing about a rebuilding process, Alex. That's not what he said when he took the press conference. He said the Raiders are back. Just lose, baby. Just lose, baby. That's the new motto, Skip Bayless.
Is it?
Yeah. It's amazing. Spider Y2 banana. It sounds good when you're an analyst and the fans are like, oh, you're John Gruden. He said Spider Y2 banana. But when you have to call it in a real game and that thing like, it doesn't work, then what, Skip?
You used that line.
I will use it again. Okay. Guess what he used? He used his, he could do it. He got you. This guy right here, Derek Carr, got you. He gutting Mark Davis's wallet, Skip Bayless. You know it's a shame. And by the way, is he going to build a winner? What's his resume? Tell me what he built in Tampa. Derrick Brooks, Warren Sapp, John Lynch, Simeon Rice Trade, Dexter Jackson, Rondé Barber. That wasn't John Gruden. That was Tony Dungy.
Why didn't Tony win at all with that group?
Whoa. I'm asking you what he built. Just because you didn't build, that don't mean, everybody that builds a house doesn't get to live in it, Skip Bayless. There are a lot of architects. Frank Lloyd Wright built a lot of things. He didn't live in all of them, so he didn't build. So just because he didn't win with it or live there.
What did Gruden build his first time around in Oakland?
If Al Davis was alive, Al Davis would have said, I built it. And you know that, Skip, so don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. You know what's going on, just like I know what's going on. John Gruden, at some point in time, Skip, it's going to get hard. It's hard to put makeup on 2 faces because sometimes you'll forget that you didn't put it on the other one. It's been a fraud from the get-go. You know that. I know that. I don't care what he talks about on the air, but at the time, right now, what is he doing right now? Team guys want to play. Now, he said to Howie Long on the interview last night that he gets a lot of, I got a phone call just like you got a phone call, and guys want to play for the Raiders. They want to play for the Silverback. Now he talking about he don't want to speculate. Now, NFL will investigate this. That's tampering. But neither here nor there. I tell you what. You know what, Skip, before I go in, I'm just going to say this. Did you see what he did last night to that defensive coordinator? He went over there. Oh, I got mad. Hell went through me because I got mad for the defensive coordinator. He going to go over to the defensive coordinator and touch it with his paper and talk about what? If I'm the defensive coordinator, I'll say, we're not in the shootout. You welcome to score more than 3 points. Now get out my face before the fight that we should be on the field be on the sideline over here, partner.
Well, he can just walk right on home if he wants
Well,
to.
won't Gruden walk on home?
Okay. I don't think Gruden's going anywhere.
What about his offense? 3-point skill, Bayless? Hold up, he a genius. He no offense. Oh, John Gruden. Oh, he'll gotcha. Oh, if I would run this offense, I'd get a lot of these college sets right here, and I'd bring them to the NFL. Man, John Gruden need to sit down.
Really?
Yeah.
So what did it require to keep John Gruden from getting to the Super Bowl his first time around in Oakland? It required just very possibly the greatest defense I've ever seen in a playoff run.
Yeah.
It was the Baltimore defense, and you happen to be on the football team, right?
Yeah.
And it took one play from you to win games because it was going to be like 6-0, right?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So that's what it took to stop him from getting to a Super Bowl. Was that not the AFC Championship game?
AFC Championship.
And he had it at his house.
At his house.
Yep.
We came.
You
Drank
came,
his
and
wine,
you saw,
wine.
and you
We didn't-
conquered.
We didn't even say thank you. We just
did
left.
not. Okay, but it took you guys, it took Ray Lewis and company, not so much you, but Ray and Ed Reed. And,
Ed wasn't there at the time.
Oh, he
it
wasn't
was
there.
Ray
Okay,
and
just
Sarah
Ray.
Goose and
Okay,
Woody.
Sarah- It took all that Woody. Whew. It took all that to keep John Gruden from a Super Bowl. So he was kind of a disaster in Oakland. Nah, not really. And then he goes right on to Tampa, and he comes right back and beats his guys with Tony's guys, right, in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That'll work. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So he's got that on his resume. So I will agree that last night was the ultimate humiliation for Oakland Raider fans. I worked in the Bay Area. I covered the Raiders. I covered the 49ers. And trust me on this, that was even more humiliating than losing to a division rival like the Denver Broncos.
Correct, absolutely.
Because obviously it's a cross-Bay rivalry, and those Raider fans have to go home and live in and among 49er fans.
Yes.
So they're going to have to take this for forever. You know, like they're going to hear about this game forever.
Losing 21-18, Skip, 21-24 is one thing.
34-3. That's what you're going to keep hearing, 34-3. They hit bottom, and worse than that, they just flat out quit last night.
That's what I wanted you to say.
Well, they quit. And
That's what I say.
His team quit on him last night.
That's what I say, Skip. So you with me. You with me.
So, why did the team quit last night on national television? Because the coach has quit on the team. Because the coach took one look in training camp and decided, you know what? I just don't love these guys. I don't love my building blocks, my cornerstones, because I don't really trust them. They're not my guys.
You know, Skip, you told me that in his previous job, he's evaluating teams. He's evaluating players.
He was.
So he didn't know that before he took the job?
He needed firsthand look at training camp, and he finally decided, you know what? I just don't know if I can win big with Khalil Mack. I don't know if I can win it all with Amari
Khalil
Cooper.
didn't show up.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. What if the team in training camp took one look at him and says, we can't win with this joker?
Okay. Well, you might be right, but they're all going to be gone before he is. I can promise you that.
Oh, yeah. He got security. He got 10 years security.
So,
what he didn't want to give Khalil Mack.
So I've already made this point. I'm going to make it one more time because Troy Aikman made it hugely last night on the telecast.
Yes.
Troy Aikman was there, as I was in 1989 when Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones took over the Dallas Cowboys. And Jimmy Johnson was seen as this, you know, both he and Jerry as these interlopers, one a college coach, one an owner from Arkansas who didn't know his, you know what, from a hole in the ground. And Jimmy took over, and the veteran players rebelled against him. He's in over his head. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just a college football coach, and he's not going to last. And he went to war with Everson Walls, who I love. You know Everson.
Yep.
And Everson was publicly going to war with Jimmy. And we get 2-3 games in, and what did Jimmy Johnson do?
Right.
No, well, he ran off Everson Walls, but he also traded Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker was all that was left in Dallas.
Beloved.
He was beloved. He had a TV show every Friday night in Dallas. I was on that show. We got into it on that show. It was hot.
What'd you call him? You called him. You said he wasn't any good, didn't you?
I just said he was a
Tiptoe.
little bit of a, a little bit of a mirage at that point.
dang.
But it got a little heated.
You've been hating way back then? That was in the early 80s you've been hating for a long. That was late 80s
Since
you
I
was
was
hating.
in high school. But
So 30 years you've been hating.
yeah.
Okay.
So In fact, I told you the story. Jimmy came to me on the way to we're getting on the team plane to Green Bay. I flew up there because it's the only way to get to Green Bay is to take the team plane up there because it's so hard to get there.
Yeah, because they fly into Apple.
So he pulled me aside. He said, "What would you say if I traded Herschel Walker?" And I said, "Well, you're asking the wrong guy because I think he's on the downside if at best."
Right.
And Jimmy said, "I'm going to trade him." You are? Really? You're going to? Because I said, "Well, you're going to take a whole bunch of heat for that." And he took heat, and they went 1-15. And then what happened? Mm-hmm. They got so many draft picks that they started quickly to turn it around. That's what John Gruden will do. He's got 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years, and they will start quickly to turn it around with his guys. And he's got 10 years to do it, and he's got an owner that's his Jerry Jones, who loves him, is united with him, who will stand by him. Obviously, Jerry finally fired Jimmy, but in those days, they were united.
Yeah,
they were.
So let me ask you a question. So is John Gruden going to find an Emmitt Smith, or Darren Woodson, or Russell Maryland, or Darren Smith, or make the trade for Charles Haley, or draft the Alvin Harper? I just want to know which one of those guys are possibly that John Gruden, and what is his resume? Because I've seen Jimmy Johnson. I saw what he did in Miami, the University of Miami. So I know what he was capable of doing.
I know what John Gruden did the first time around in Oakland, as I just told you. And I know that John Gruden did coach a team by hook or crook and won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
He got to live in a house that he didn't build.
Oh.
You know, that happens sometimes, Skip.
He built the house in Oakland, and he was right there, and it took Ray Lewis to stop him.
We huffed and puffed, we blew the house down.
Yeah,
but then we'll get back to my original notes, my original comment.
Yep.
You know what, Skip Bayless? Let me tell you what John Gruden gonna win. Press conference. He got great soundbite. Oh, he won that. Ooh, the Raiders are back. Remember, he didn't need technology. Oh, we're trying to make this thing so complicated. It's still football. Oh, really? Oh, really, John Gruden is really just football? Because guess what? Kyle Shanahan took a guy. Hell, I thought that was Chris Mullin godson or something. I was like, who is this dude here? And Kyle Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, good coach. Because you look at what he did with Matt Ryan, MVP, Matt Schaub. Look at Jimmy Garoppolo got that money. He had C.J. Beathard going head-to-head with Aaron Rodgers. And he took a guy, Skip, I didn't even know who this dude was. I was like, who they going to try to their quarterback now? And he had John Gruden look like a Pop Warner coach.
His team quit because he quit on his team. He decided, I'm going to tear it down before I build it up. So here he goes, and it's just going to take a little while.
So you telling me, let me get this straight now. You've never really built anything. So I have you to come in, I'm getting you to add. You're supposed to pick up where Jack Del Rio, because just 2 years ago, they were 2-4. One of the, so I'll just make sure I'm hearing you correctly. I got you to add on, gonna pay you a little, and now you telling me you need to tear it down? Whoa, wait a minute. Why did you got to mention this in the negotiation, Skip Bayless? You actually think I'm going to have a contractor come in my house. He tells me this is what it's going to cost me to add on. And then all of a sudden, he going to come back and tell me I need to tear the entire house down? I wish I might pay him $10 million a year to do that.
You know, it's so easy to over-emotionally, overreact, knee-jerk opinions that you have because you grew up in the Bronco tradition hating the Oakland Raiders. Am I right?
Don't do that,
you
Skip.
hate them with all your might.
This ain't have nothing to do with no Bronco.
Yes, it does.
We beat the
brakes
off them.
It's okay. So just remember I said this.
But
just remember I said John Gruden will turn this around and he will win and win big in Oakland and then in Las Vegas.
This is all this is, Skip, is to get this team from Oakland to Vegas. And then John Gruden hitting Mark Davis with these 22s. I'm out.
You think so?
Yes.
You know what? Just last quick point. John Gruden looks great. I know him really well, and the last 10 years or so, he gained weight, and he got a little haggard looking.
What guy doesn't look good making $10 million a year?
Yeah, but
give me $10 million a year.
My point is, this isn't stressing him out at all.
Alex, the dude
he knows exactly where he's going.
Hold on,
he's lost weight. He looks tanned. He looks healthy. He looks like 10 years younger to me.
I tell you what.
Because he knows where he's headed, and he knows he will shut up the Shannon Sharpe.
Whoa. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Somebody give me 10 years at $100 million guaranteed. What you want me to look like? You want me to lose 50 pounds? You want me to gain? You want me to be as big as Snacks Harrison? I do whatever 10 years. That's why he looks good.
But some people would start to crumble under the pressure to live up to that $100 million.
Skip, I'm going to get $100 million. Whether I go to the Super Bowl and win 5 of them or whether I do what I'm doing right now. What's the stress in that? Nothing.
I just remember I warned you.
Yeah, I want you to remember. Ooh.
Always darkest before the dawn. And
Yeah.
Here comes the dawn.
No mercy.
The Packers and the Patriots' huge matchup on Sunday night will feature two of the best quarterbacks of all time. Aaron Rodgers has just one Super Bowl title in his career, while Tom Brady has 5. But a lot of people credit that to Bill Belichick. So, Shannon, if Rodgers had Belichick as his coach, how much would he have won?
I believe it'll be equal to, if not more than what Tom Brady has done. Because it's hard for me to believe that a guy that's more talented than Tom Brady will win less, considering that he has more skills, legs, arm. I believe his football IQ is equal to Tom Brady. So it's hard for me to believe that Aaron Rodgers would not have won just as much as Tom Brady has. But the thing that goes unnoticed is we keep going Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, but the difference is Coach Belichick. And I stayed up late last night, Alex. I didn't get much sleep because I knew we were going to have this discussion. And people don't know this at home, but me and my researcher, Steve, I'm sorry, brother, we had to stay up late at night. He drinking coffee, drinking and popping no-dos like a Skittle, Skip Bayless. I said, we not going to bed till I get to the bottom of this.
I know.
And this is what I come up with. In Tom Brady's 17 seasons, 16 times, he's had a top 10 scoring defense. In Aaron Rodgers' tenure, they've had it twice. One of those, he won the Super Bowl. But this is Skip Bayless's argument. And I want people to please, this is my camera right here, please listen very closely. Hey, Skip, I don't never ask for the camera. I never look directly into the camera. But this time, just for this, please stay with me. Tom Brady's played 37 playoff games. In 23 of those playoff games, in the fourth quarter, Coach Belichick's defense has pitched a shutout. You see the hush? The hush comes over the crowd. In 23 of 37 playoff games, Coach Belichick's defense has pitched a shutout.
When is it my turn?
Well, it's not your turn yet. In 37 playoff games, Coach Belichick's defense has allowed 7 points only 7 times. 7 points or more in 37 playoff games. So on average, in 37 playoff games, Tom Brady's defense is giving up 2.9 points a game in the fourth quarter in 37 playoff games. Oh my goodness. So you trying to tell me with that guy right there, with that arm talent, he's a magician with the football in his hand. I've never seen, and I've played with some of the greats. Went to Pro Bowls with him and watched him up close throw the football. I saw this guy throw the ball in the Super Bowl against Cowboy Stadium against the Pittsburgh. I had never.
It was 10 years ago.
I don't care if it was 100 years ago. So Tom Brady has scored less than 20 points 9 times in his playoff career. Aaron Rodgers has never done that. So for me, if I were to give Aaron Rodgers Bill Belichick and put him with that system, it's hard for me to believe that anything less than 5 Super Bowls Aaron Rodgers would also have. So Skip Bayless, I really, no further questions, y'all.
Really? Are you done? Because when I unleash, you cannot jump in.
You go right ahead. Take your time.
This whole argument is completely laughable to me because I'm not saying let's do the role reversal, if Tom Brady had played his career in Green Bay under whoever, it could be Sherman and
he only had he only had Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy, whatever. Maybe Tom Brady wouldn't have won 8 Super Bowls, but he would have won 5. I'll give him 5. And I say Aaron Rodgers would have won 0 with Bill Belichick because you are completely ignoring the fit. What was Bill Belichick before Tom Brady dropped out of heaven into his lap? What was he as a head coach? Help me out. He didn't win. He had had losing records in 5 of his 6 head coaching seasons. He was about to be relegated to becoming a lifelong defensive coordinator elsewhere than New England because I know 2 assistants on that staff very well, and they were ready to put their houses up for sale as that year started that Tom Brady finally took over when they lost their second game of the year and Drew Bledsoe got hurt. So they had gone 5-11 his first year in Foxborough. They were 0-2 at that point, and he would have gotten fired if it had stayed on that path and Drew Bledsoe hadn't just fatefully gotten hurt. Remember the Mo Lewis hit?
Yeah, I do.
So the point is that Bill Belichick is really difficult to deal with. He was difficult in Cleveland. He basically got run out of Cleveland because he's a tyrant. He can be a no-good son of a you-know-what.
Yep.
He is hard to cope with, to coexist with, but he is very good at coaching the defense, obviously. So he lucked into a Tom Brady who was the coach's dream, he's turning into the greatest leader in the history of sports, because he took over the locker room and he kept telling everybody, just keep your head down and keep working and we'll figure it out, and ignore him, just shut him out. And he could cut whatever player he wanted to cut. He could throw whatever tirade he wanted to throw. And Tom Brady kept telling the locker room, it's okay, we got this. Coach's dream. He's the best soldier you could have for Bill Belichick. So he fit with Belichick because he covered for Belichick, and then he overcame Belichick. And what you don't point out with your stats is that Tom Brady just took over all those fourth quarters in time of possession, and I don't have time to go through it, but the Patriots dominated time of possession in all those fourth quarters because Tom Brady kept the ball away from the opposing offense, because he ball controlled with long drives and game-winning drives. So speaking of game-winning drives, how many has Aaron Rodgers had in his playoff career? 2. And they came courtesy of my Dallas Cowboys. And one should have been canceled by the Dez catch because it was a catch. That was a game-winning drive, and he gets credit for it. It happened with 9 minutes left in the game.
Hold on.
Okay?
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, the Dallas Cowboys scored. Do you remember when the Packers took the knee down? They took a knee. They got the ball because Dallas could have got the ball back. Aaron Rodgers drove right back down the field and took a knee on the 30-yard line.
And then his other game-winning drive, his only other one in his lengthy playoff career, was also against my Cowboys 2 years ago at Jerry World, and it came compliments of 3rd and 20 at his 32, and my team plays prevent defense.
What you want him to play?
With 6 DBs back on the 20-yard line.
So what you want him to play?
And he has a pitch and catch right up the left sideline to Jared Cook. It's pitch and catch. He's uncovered at the sideline. Here, I'll just throw it to you. That's his other game-winning drive. And that resulted in a 51-yard field goal that Mason Crossbar duck hooked to the left, and the hand of God moved it inside the left upright. I don't know how it happened. That's all you got for Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers, would he have worked with Bill Belichick? He's a diva. No. He's a prima donna. He's a finger-pointing blame deflector. Do you think he would have fit with Belichick? He wouldn't have lasted, seriously. Whatever, let's say he's on a rookie contract, what would it be, 3 years?
4 years.
4 years. But in his 4th year, he's out. I promise you, they would have been oil and water. They would not have clicked.
Here's the thing, Skip. It's easier for you to deal with someone if that's all you know. As I always tell people, my first 3 years I had Dan Reeves, old school, hard school. He played for Coach Tom Landry. He coached under Tom Landry. You know Coach Landry,
very well.
Hard nosed. They
Dan
practiced 2.5, 3 hours. That's what we had. That's what I knew. Now, had I had Mike Shanahan first and then go to a system like that,
I don't think John Elway would have lasted much longer with Dan Reeves.
So the thing is, if Aaron Rodgers has a Bill Belichick to begin with, that's all he knows. Now, if he has a Mike McCarthy for 5, 6, 7 years and then goes to a Coach Belichick, maybe we're having a different discussion. But once you are used to this, once this is what you know, it's easier to cope with. It's easier to deal with.
Mike McCarthy gets no credit for what he did with Aaron Rodgers, who fell to the, 24th pick in the draft?
24th, 27th, something like that. Yeah, around there.
Why did that happen? Because some had doubts about his delivery at Cal. And was he a Jeff Tedford sort of product of that sort of Walshian kind of system that Tedford coached? So what did they do? For 3 years while he waited on Brett Favre, they rebuilt him. His whole delivery was different, and I think Mike McCarthy doesn't get any credit for that. So if he goes to New England, I don't know, is it Charlie Weiss? Is he going to rebuild his delivery? I don't know, maybe he could have. But a lot got done under Mike McCarthy.
And how's the thing, Skip? And I don't want people to think that I'm like Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy is a good coach. He's not great, and he's damn sure isn't Bill Belichick.
You know, there were years when Mike McCarthy was seen as the best play caller in pro football. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Now he's not, because Aaron starts to point fingers. But we didn't call the right play. We should.
No matter what hot defensive coordinator, be it Dom Capers, be it Bob Sutton, be it Rex Ryan, when it comes to defensive minds, that's always gone to that guy, Coach Belichick.
It used to, but over the last 3 years, not so much.
Let that sink in. In 37 games, Tom Brady has been to the playoffs. The defense that Tom Brady plays behind has given up an average of 2.9 points per fourth quarter.
Let this sink into your mind. Do you realize that Tom Brady in his playoff career has 11 game-winning drives to only 2 for Aaron Rodgers? Yeah. Think about this. In all 5 of his Super Bowl victories, he had the game-winning drive in the fourth quarter or overtime. That's impossibly great. This is the greatest clutch performer in the history of sports.
Look at the...
Do you realize how that saved Belichick?
I tell you what, I'm going to do it like this is, and if, Alex, if you want to close, you can close. Tom Brady last year threw for how many yards in the Super Bowl?
505.
505. And they had 634 total yards. But the defense gave up 12 points. If you don't mind me asking, Skip Bayless.
12 points win.
In the fourth quarter, who won the game? Even with all those yards, even with all those passing yards, total yards, his defense gave up 12 points. He took the L.
It was the most points ever scored by a Super Bowl loser. How could you ask Tom Brady to do more? That's a top 5 Philly defense. He put 33 on
That's
him.
my point.
33 at age 40. He's still doing it at 41.
My point is,
it's ridiculous.
My point is, yes, Tom Brady.
Do you realize, even in the first Eli Super Bowl, Brady had another game-winning drive with 2 minutes left. He should have 6 and 6 Super Bowl ring victories.
Well, he could have lost to Skip. He could have lost some of those too, Skip. He could have lost to the Rams, right?
I know, but he drove them down and got them in position.
But here's the thing. My point is, Skip, in order for Brady to do that, because like I'm saying, he gave up 12 points, had the greatest playoff game in NFL history, the most yards, total yards in a playoff game in NFL history, but his defense gave up 12. So it doesn't matter how great Tom Brady is. If Coach Belichick's defense doesn't do what they do, it's all for naught. Skip Bayless, do you understand what I'm saying? In 23 of the 37 games, his defense has pitched a shutout in the fourth quarter. That's unheard of.
Okay, but you're not doing time of possession. Brady just takes the game over. He controls the game in the fourth quarter. See, if you have the ball and they don't, then they can't score.
But let me ask you a question.
You get it?
Let me ask you a question. But when they score, does the offense get the ball back? Yes, they do. It doesn't matter, Skip. Time of possession is unimportant if you don't put points on the board. If Tom Brady possessed the ball for 8 minutes of the 15 minutes in the fourth quarter and they don't get any points, what good is that, Skip? Not only is he getting points, Coach Belichick's defense is not giving up points. Less than 3 points in 37 fourth quarter, Skip. Do you understand how phenomenal that is? 23 times, Alex, they didn't even let them score. Only 7 times they've given up 7 or more points in the fourth quarter. Skip Bayless, that's ridiculous. And Aaron Rodgers, if Aaron Rodgers had that, Aaron Rodgers had 2 top 10 scoring defense. The last time he had one, he won the Super Bowl. The last time Aaron Rodgers had a top 10, he won the Super Bowl. Tom Brady's had 16 of those in 17 of the seasons he started.
And yet, I'm going to bring it home with this. I told you yesterday, after Aaron Rodgers beat Tom Brady back in, 2014, then what did Aaron Rodgers go and do in the NFC Championship game at Seattle?
They lost.
Yeah, they lost, and I told you that the columnists were all over him. Here's Bob McGinn from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. He wrote, Rodgers probably played as poorly in Seattle as he has in any of his playoff games. Their passing game was null and void. Great players need to make great plays in big games like this, and Rodgers really didn't make any at all. Just to show you, this never happens to Tom Brady.
When did Tom Brady have a lower leg injury? But here's the thing, Skip. Yes, they had the big lead, and Seattle took the lead. But do you remember? Aaron Rodgers on that one leg took Green Bay down, and they got the game-time field goal to send it into overtime. But that goes for naught.
All right, guys, this debate can go on forever, but we have to move on. So do the Browns have any shot of upsetting the Chiefs on Sunday? We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
The Browns are an 8-point underdog at home against the Chiefs on Sunday. Now, KC is rolling at 7-1, and Patrick Mahomes leads the league in touchdown passes and yards. Now, in Cleveland, it's been a rocky week with Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley both getting fired. Baker Mayfield was asked about expanding his leadership role, and he said, quote, bring it on. So, Shannon, do you give the Browns any shot to beat the Chiefs?
I mean, this is sports, and that's what we love about them, Skip, because you have a chance. One game, anything can possibly happen. But if I had to bet some money that meant something to me, and if I'm betting it's my money and it damn sure means something to me, I'm not putting a dime that Cleveland's going to win this ball game. I would be willing to give you those 8 points. The Chiefs are loaded. And the Cleveland, they're not an explosive offense, Skip. The last 4 games, they average less than 17 points a game. And in the last 4 games, they have 20 total points. Well, we know with Kansas City, they normally get the ball and go right down the field and score. So they already put you in a deficit. And you can't go 3 and out against them because Patrick Mahomes is playing unbelievable football. He's playing like the best quarterback in football right now. And he's the early favorite to possibly win. We're going to talk about this later, Skip, the MVP. But they're loaded offensively. And Andy Reid is going to give you a lot of formations. He's going to give you a lot of motion and try and confuse you. And now Sammy Watkins, they've gotten Sammy Watkins integrated into the offense. We know what Tyreek Hill, we know what Travis Kelce, and we know what Kareem Hunt can do. And now they've unleashed Sammy Watkins. So that makes their offense even more dynamic. Now, to Cleveland's credit, they do lead the NFL in takeaways. Unfortunately, their offense hasn't been able to capitalize on those, Skip. But I just believe that Kansas City will go in here, take care of business. A couple of things can happen. They can rally behind Greg Williams, Hugh being gone, Todd Haley being gone. They can rally for Greg Williams, or it could completely come apart. But it's interesting, Skip. I don't know if you thought about this. I was thinking about this the other day. A coach that was suspended for the entire year for Bountygate is now a head coach, but that's neither here nor there. We don't need to worry about that, Skip. That's what they put.
He also claims that recently he's been offered 4 jobs with no interviews, like 4 head coaching jobs. So I don't know.
And he took this one. But I just believe that the Chiefs showed me a little something defensively. They're getting a little better. But because the Browns are not explosive, they don't have big play potential, and I don't see them. I don't really see how they can get to a number, because it's going to take something in the 30s in order to beat this team, maybe even the 40s. The game that they lost, he took 43 points. And I don't know if Cleveland possessed that kind of firepower. Now, if they get a kick return, punt return, touchdown, get a scoop and score a pick 6, anything can happen. But minus that, I just don't see them being talented enough offensively to put Kansas City in harm's way.
I am with you on this point spread. It is baffling to me. I don't get it because it's been bet down from 8.5 to 8. And really? Only 8? I think Kansas City should win by 3 touchdowns. The Cleveland Browns, maybe predictably, have fallen right back on their faces in dysfunction. And now this is a classic case of 2 quarterbacks. And as you well know, especially at the position of quarterback, you can either be a victim of or a product of your circumstance that you fall into. So what have we seen with these 2 quarterbacks? They both came from Texas Tech. What happened to Baker Mayfield? He had a nice first year, and then he clashed with Cliff Kingsbury, and he said, I'm out.
I'm outie.
And he took a year off, and he transferred and walked on at Oklahoma, and the rest is Heisman history, right?
Yep.
So in comes Patrick Mahomes behind him at Texas Tech. He clicks with Cliff Kingsbury, and he has a year in which he throws 41 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Baker, meanwhile, finds his soulmate, his big brother figure in Lincoln Riley, one of the best play callers I've ever seen, and he goes 43 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions at the same time. And they have a classic shootout at Tech, but Baker finds himself with a little better team, not much better defense, about the same, but just better weapons.
Yeah, especially offensively.
Okay,
yes.
Better offensive weapons, so he wins the shootout against Patrick Mahomes, where they both throw for whatever it was,
Well, Pat Mahomes set the NCAA record with 734 passing yards, 819 total. Baker had over 500. I think they had 1,700 total yards.
So Baker won that game.
Right.
But then, big picture, Patrick Mahomes wins the chess match going into the NFL because Andy Reid handpicked him. And Andy Reid is not he is a great quarterback coach and play caller. And all of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes drops into a team that over his Andy Reid's years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they've been really good every year. I mean, even the last 2 years, they're 12-4 and 10-6. That's the team he got to take over with all the weapons you just detailed.
Yes.
Well, is there a better situation for a first-year quarterback?
No.
Maybe in the history of the NFL? Andy Reid and the weapons?
Think about it, when this was happening, when Andy traded, Andy, what are you doing? You trading all these picks to move up to take Pat, because I thought, I'm sure I thought like everybody else, he's moving up to take Deshaun Watson.
I thought so.
Oh, he about to get, Deshaun about to, and with the 10th pick, Pat Mahomes, I'm like, what? I mean, he's not going to even play. I mean, Alex Smith was, taking him, I'm like, they need a But Andy saw something. Andy said, this offense can be so much more with these weapons if we get a guy, because the difference is between Pat Mahomes, Skip, and Alex Smith is that Pat Mahomes will take chances with the football. He will push the ball down the field. In order to be explosive, you got to be willing to take chances. You can't the big fish are in the deep. Very seldom, only if the whale gets beached is he hanging around in shallow water.
Yep.
And Alex Smith wants to hang around in shallow water. He want to take the screen. He want to take the jailbreak. He want to take the flat route. Pat Mahomes, I'm going over the top. And so, but this right here, Skip, he's like, yeah, you got me. When we was in college, you got me.
Yeah.
Made me look bad.
Yeah.
But I'm back
Right.
now.
Yeah.
And I got some
Look
help.
What happened? So what happened to Baker Mayfield? He goes #1 overall to the Cleveland Browns. And it looked like they were starting to turn around, and then Hard Knocks happened. Hard Knocks wrecked that football team because it wrecked the coaching staff because it pitted Hugh Jackson against Todd Haley, basically, and sometimes against Greg Williams.
But Skip,
But it turned into a snake pit.
Yeah, but wouldn't you know, I mean, Todd Haley's personality and Hugh,
I agree.
even from the outside,
I'm
that
with you.
doesn't mesh.
Nope, it doesn't mesh. And Greg Williams got a big
Yes,
too.
Man, look, I don't really think anybody was putting on for Hard Knocks, which further like, Hugh, what were you thinking? I get that, sometimes, Skip, you get these great offensive minds. You're a head coach and you want the best offensive coordinator, you want the best defensive coordinator. But at the end of the day, it's got to be about fit.
Yep.
If your personality doesn't match his personality, I don't give a damn how good
Totally agree.
the play calling is.
So-
because eventually, this is what's going to happen.
What's gonna happen.
And guess what? Both of you up out of there.
You're both out of there. And now Hugh is saying, and it might be a little 2020 hindsight, but he's looking back saying, well, if we had taken Wentz or Mahomes or Deshaun, then we would have been better off. So clearly he didn't buy completely into Baker.
Right.
I think he likes him but didn't love him.
Right.
And again, I never said
I think-
Baker's going to be like a perennial Pro Bowler. I just think he's the best of this crop.
I think what he's saying, Skip, is that we wouldn't have been 1-15. We wouldn't have been 0-16 had we grabbed one of those guys, and then maybe I'm getting judged differently. But when you're 1-15, 0-16, you really need to get off to a flying start to change the perception of that you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yep, that is
Because that's what people are thinking right now. I think he was a great play caller. I don't know, he's had 2 head coaching jobs. I think it was premature that he got released by the Raiders. He finished 8-8.
I agree with that.
But when you go 1-15, 0-16, Skip, the leash isn't very long for you to prove that, do you know what you're doing? Or you just bull jiving here? And once they started clashing, hold on. I can accept, like Mr. Kraft says, I can accept, you guys clashing, Tom and Coach Belichick. We winning. We getting to and winning Super Bowls. Now, ain't no owner putting up with no clashing if you're not winning, Skip.
Nope.
You got to go.
So Hugh was the one who pushed for the undrafted free agent Desmond Harrison to play left tackle to protect Baker's blind side, and it's been a disaster.
Right.
So that was a bad idea. Then the
worst idea was Joe Thomas retiring.
Yeah. And
Had
then-
Joe Thomas not retired, it might have been a different story.
Thank you. And then I don't know what happened to Josh Gordon, but somehow Tom Brady's getting some use out of Josh Gordon. In fact, that's kind of all he's really got is a way of a deep threat.
Right.
And yet they said no. So Baker lost Josh Gordon, then he lost Rashard Higgins, and then he lost Derek Willis. And it's rough, man. So he's in a terrible spot. Could he have some success if you dropped him into Kansas City right now? Yeah, he would. Is he as talented as Patrick? No, he's not. He's not as big, and he doesn't have, obviously, the arm. Not that arm.
Right. But Josh Gordon had to go, Skip. Because in that situation, he was always going to be the Josh Gordon that he had become. And maybe he can transition now.
I got that. But could Baker have used him? Well, sure.
Oh,
he
yeah,
could
you
have.
can use him. Yeah, a lot of teams can use him. But can we always count on you?
Nope.
It'll be interesting to see what Baker does now,
Yeah.
though.
It's going to be a rough. It's
It
going to be
is.
a rough
It's
ride
going to be
the
a
rest
tough
of the
one.
year.
But can anyone stop the Rams in the NFC? We'll discuss that with Greg Jennings next.
No mercy.
Now let's talk about that Rams-Saints game. It will feature 2 of the best offensive in football. The Rams are 3rd in scoring, led by Todd Gurley and his 15 touchdowns. And the Saints are slightly better with the 2nd best scoring offense in the NFL at just over 33 points per game. And we are joined by Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings. Greg, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. So which team has a better chance of winning the NFC?
The Los Angeles Rams.
Ooh.
I like this team. I like this team a lot. And when I look at their remaining schedule and I look at New Orleans Saints' remaining schedule, I like the favorable schedule for the Rams. Their next 3 weeks are probably their toughest weeks. You got the Saints, obviously, this weekend, Seahawks, and then the Chiefs. Then you still have your bye, so you can get guys back. Akeem Talib, Cooper Kupp, who is practice limited this week. And when I look at the Saints defensively, they are a bad defensive team overall. stopping the run, great. But in this league, what we see, that's fine. You can stop the run because that's not how teams are winning ball games. They're winning ball games by putting the ball in the air and scoring touchdowns with their passing attack. And both of these teams have one of the most elite passing attacks in all of football. The Saints have the better quarterback. I think the Rams, however, I love Sean Payton. Absolutely love Sean Payton. But what Sean McVay has been able to do with Jared Goff and this offense and all these weapons, he understands how to use his guys. And I just like what their outlook is better than what I like the Saints. The Saints, they still, even when we look in their division, they have the Falcons who are 3-4, the Buccaneers who are 3-4, all scary teams when it comes to playing the Saints because they know them.
And they still got Carolina.
And they still got Carolina twice. They have Carolina twice. So when I look at the remaining schedule, I think it's more favorable for the Rams. And then to add to a question, if there was a team that needed home field advantage more, it is definitely the Rams.
So who you got this Sunday?
I got the Rams.
Really?
I do.
Interesting. Well,
I think it's the Saints. I picked the Saints to go to the Super Bowl, and even when I looked at their schedule, I thought this was the first time the Rams would lose a ball game, was on the road in New Orleans. And here's the thing, and if the Saints can get home field, it's a different animal in that dome.
It is.
And I think the thing, and what happens is the Rams haven't lost a game. Saints have lost one. Now, if the Saints can hang an L on the Rams, now, even though we have the same amount of losses, I own the tiebreaker because I beat you head to head. So I like the Saints in this, and I agree. Now, the Saints do a great job of protecting Drew Brees, Skip. He's been sacked only 9 times in 7 games. Now, they got a hellraiser coming to town in Aaron Donald. Skip, the dude has been double teamed 70% of the snaps.
Don't matter.
But he leads the league in sacks. That's unheard of. 70% of the snaps, he's been double teamed, but he leads the league in sacks.
boy, Steve stayed up really late.
Yeah, no, Skip, don't do that, Skip. That's me.
I can just feel him pulling
No,
those puppet
I mean, I ain't got no. I got toothpicks in my eyes right now.
Does he actually? You're like he's your ventriloquist, right? He's.
What'd you say, Tyler?
Oh,
Tyler said leave. Tyler said your guy said leave me alone.
really? Oh, he's probably feeding the information too. I don't know.
Their front seven. I like the Saints front seven, but it's that back seven. It's Williams. It's Crowley. Skip. That's why I'm surprised. And they went and got Eli Apple, but that was the wrong pick. Right position, wrong pick. I'd have tried to move heaven and earth to get Pat Peterson.
I think everybody did.
I would have. I would have given it up because now they're the prohibited favorites with a Lattimore on one side and Pat P on the other side. That's a whole different animal.
Yeah.
But I like the Saints to win, and I think they're good. Their schedule is very favorable. They get home field throughout. It's going to be the Dickens for somebody to go in that dome and beat them because that place is electric. And it's regular season is electric, but it's a whole different animal come playoff time, Skip.
So, I believe this is a must-win for the Saints, and I believe they will win. And I also picked the Saints before the season started to get to the Super Bowl and represent the NFC. But the last 2 Fridays on this show, I actually stuck with my Super Bowl pick on the road. Wait. I picked them at Baltimore and at Minnesota to win on the road. And the man across from me had no faith. And he picked Baltimore and Minnesota to beat the Saints that he picked to go to the Super Bowl. So I'm just, for the record.
We don't need that for the record.
For the record.
I picked them to go to and win the Super Bowl. I ain't say nothing about what their record was going to be. Do you have to be undefeated to get to the Super Bowl? You always trying to throw me under the bus.
So, no, I'm trying to put you in front of the bus.
Yeah, exactly. So you can run over me. Exactly.
Yes. So, what happened at Baltimore and at Minnesota? The Saints were a combined 68 rushing attempts to only 54 passes. Woo, they flipped their usual script. On the road, they ran the football. Over those 2 games, those were the 4th most rushes in the NFL. The Saints rushed the ball the 4th most times over the last 2 weeks. They threw it the 22nd most times. So they took the ball in large part out of Drew Brees' hand, and they put it in Ingram's or Kamara's or whoever's going to run the football's hands because they want to eat the clock a little bit and keep their defense off the field. So they want to drive it and keep the score lower. This is not your grandfather's Saints. You know, this isn't the way they used to do business. So that's why I like them more this year than I've liked them last year. That's why I think they still have a chance to win the NFC. Now, back to your schedule point, their closing schedule is the toughest in the NFL. And I do not love it for the Saints because they still have to go to Cincinnati, they have to go to Dallas, they got Pittsburgh at home, and that's beyond the games they still have to play that you point out in the division. All those games, and they got Carolina twice and Atlanta again.
And they
so
got to go to
it's
Tampa,
hard.
who
It's
lit them
hard.
up.
I know, it's hard. And Tampa shell-shocked them and blindsided them with Fitzmagic on opening day in New Orleans.
Right.
So the Rams don't have nearly as hard a schedule. They got Kansas City and Mexico City. I don't know, that could be a coin toss. And then they go to Detroit, go to Chicago. They got your Eagles at home, Seattle at home. I don't know. It feels like even if the Saints win this game, which I do believe they will, that they're still at some point going to have to go to Los Angeles to get to Atlanta in the Super Bowl, right?
I hear all of that, but for me, the game for the Rams was this past Sunday against Green Bay, coming into their house, a team that everybody has pretty much not written off, but we know who Green Bay is. We know who that guy is under center, Aaron Rodgers, and what he can do to your opposing defense. And then the way the Green Bay Packers played defensively against the Rams, I think that was a huge wake-up call. I think that game that they were able to win, however they won, was a huge game going into this week, understanding that we have another juggernaut with Drew Brees under center, a defense that can get it going at home. They have to find a way to win the tough games, not always the way we see them winning blowouts. Right. The close games sometimes, the ugly games, and they did that last week, and I think that's going to propel them even going into this week.
What concerns me about the Rams in this game is that Green Bay ran the ball really effectively against them last week. And we know New Orleans, with that two-headed monster, can run the ball. I think what the Saints did when they went on the road, Skip, is that we don't want to have a whole lot of checks. Crowd noise come into play. And we don't want to have Drew get hit in the back, scooping scores. Let's run the football. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they throw the ball a little bit more. But given that the Rams give up a lot of yards running the football, hey, it might be another situation where they get 30, 35, 40 carries in this ball game and try to run them out of the building. Because I don't want to have Drew dropping back 35 times. Because eventually, Aaron Donald going to hit you in the back. He going to get you. He's that good.
Okay. So you still sticking with
I'm sticking with my Saints. I'm going with my pick. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think you're covering.
No. Saints going to run the ball. Yeah. I would run the ball considering that the Rams struggle against the run. That's what I would do.
So is it a shootout?
I think lower scoring. I think they'll do it again. I think they'll run it more than they throw it. I do.
I think the game's going to get in the mid-20s.
But Greg Jennings, you are so bullish on the Rams right now. I think Alex probably is too,
I'm right there with you.
being an Angelino. But the point is, if they win this game, as you say, is it possible they're going to go 16-0?
No, I never favor a team going 16-0. That is so difficult to do. And when you look at it, you never know. Seattle is not a bad football team. So
but it's at L.A.
But in my opinion, it's a
division
game. It doesn't matter where it's played. And when I look at the schedule, none of these games are just give-me's until you get to the last two, Carolina and 49ers. That's why we haven't even mentioned them. But they still have to play. I think this game, for me, is probably the most important game on their schedule, and I think they get it done. I think they treat it as such. Last year was such a huge step for the Los Angeles Rams, entering into the playoffs, losing, not being who that we thought they were in the regular season, in the playoffs. I think they learned and gained so much experience from that. Going down here will be a playoff atmosphere. Sometimes you need these games early in the season so that you can make your run late.
Well, Shannon Sharpe, back on the Saints bandwagon after 2 weeks off. It's okay.
Nobody asked you who I picked. Nobody asked you who I picked the previous 2 weeks.
You said it. You said it on the air. Nobody has to ask you. You volunteered.
No, nobody asked you. They know what I said. Nobody asked you to rehash.
To remind them.
No, we don't.
I mean, I'm looking at the Saints. The Saints still have your Cowboys on the schedule.
Oh, that's a win. That's an easy win there. Chalk that one up. That's an easy win.
All right, Greg, thank you so much for joining us. As Skip said, I'm joining you, and I'm picking the Rams. I know.
Welcome.
Thank you. Now, are the Steelers actually better without Le'Veon Bell? We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
The Steelers are taking their 3-game winning streak to Baltimore Sunday to face the Ravens. Now, the Steelers have kept it rolling in the backfield with James Conner while Le'Veon Bell has been out all season. Conner has 9 rushing touchdowns, but will be facing the NFL's #1 defense on Sunday. Yesterday, the Ravens defensive coordinator said the Steelers have actually been better without Le'Veon. Take a listen.
I hope he shows up like right before the game, and they want to play him. Look, it's like this. I think it's like since 2015. If you look at their stats, there's a lot of stats in different categories that the Steelers are actually better without him. They're better in those categories since 2015 without Le'Veon, so that might be why he's riding a jet ski down in Miami right now. I don't know.
Shannon, it's a bold statement. Do you agree?
No. Le'Veon Bell Todd Gurley has made us forget, because Le'Veon was Todd Gurley before Todd Gurley was doing what Todd Gurley is doing. He has a unique skill set. And James Conner is unbelievable. He's having an unbelievable year, and considering what he went through in college with the leukemia, I think, non-Hodgkin's leukemia, Skip, and for him to come back and carve out a nice niche for himself in the NFL, this is an unbelievable story. But he's not Le'Veon Bell. And sometimes, Skip, we get so caught up in numbers where you see what he's doing, and Le'Veon only had 3 touchdowns, and he had 6, and Le'Veon only had one 100-yard rushing game, and he has 4. Come on, stop. Do you forget what Le'Veon Bell is? Do you forget who he is? It's just like, last year when Kevin Durant 2 years ago when Kevin Durant got hurt. The Warriors are a better team. They move the ball and they score more. Stop. You know good and well the Warriors are not a better team without Kevin Durant. Just like the Pittsburgh Steelers are not a better team without Le'Veon Bell. Because Le'Veon, you can say, Le'Veon, go outside, and I want you to beat this safety. I want you to beat this linebacker. And the second or the third best corner that they have, I want you to go beat him. He can do it. James Conner is an old school running back. You go, screen pass, Skip, flat route, he can do that. But Le'Veon Bell is a unique individual. And I do not believe the Steelers are better without Le'Veon Bell.
By the way, quick aside, the Cowboy offensive line has made everybody forget Ezekiel Elliott. Don't forget, he's better than any of these guys.
No, he's not better than Todd Gurley. Yes, Stop saying that. Now, you need to stop.
I just said it.
And Le'Veon riding a jet ski, like Wink Martindale said, he's down in Miami riding a jet ski.
So, do I think James Conner in a vacuum is better than Le'Veon? I do not. Do I think James Conner is a better fit for these Steelers? I do.
Monetarily, he is.
No, I'm just talking about in production and in personality. James Conner will give you an honest day's work every Sunday. He just comes and he keeps his head down, and the numbers are the same. He's actually a little better. We don't need to go through all of them, and you can say you can make stats dance however you want to make them dance. But again, James Conner hasn't been bad. He hasn't been a bust.
No. He's been phenomenal.
He's carried his weight
here.
Yes,
absolutely.
And again, I like the fit better because it's hard on offense when you have 2 sort of prima donna superstars in Le'Veon and AB. Because they both care about their stats as much as they do about winning. I'm not saying they care about stats more, but it's close with both of them. And if they don't get their stats, they're not going to be happy. Even if you win sometimes, they're not going to be really happy with the win because they didn't get their numbers.
Yeah, O'Bannon diva too now. Don't sleep on O'Bannon.
Okay, you know what? I'll give you that. That is true. But it's hard for him to juggle 2 nitroglycerins as opposed to 1, because with James Conner, he doesn't care. Like Ben's not worried about James Conner.
No, he's not trying to have to throw him balls, or he has to worry about getting him 25 carries, where now all Ben has to worry about is getting Antonio, throw Antonio his 12 to 13 targets, and he'll be happy.
Yeah.
But when you got Le'Veon, you got to give Le'Veon 20 to 25 carries. You got to throw him 5 to 10 passes, and then AB like, whoa, wait about me. And now you got Juju. He's like, hey, bro. And then you got James Washington. Like, don't forget about me.
Who's been out of the rotation. I don't know what's happened to him. I thought he was really good, but whatever. And then you got the 2 tight ends, and you got to try to keep them kind of happy.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, James Conner really works for this offense because he is a working class sort of running back. He's made for Pittsburgh and for a Steelers nation.
Right.
They love this, and they love what he overcame through college.
Went to the University of Pittsburgh.
No, it's a really good story, and it's a perfect story. And he's also clarified the receiving rotation because he'll catch his share of balls. But to your point, you always talked about how Le'Veon can play wide out.
Yeah.
You can split him out. Not even in the slot. You can split him wide.
Yes.
Okay, I give you that. but they don't really need that on an every down basis. No. And when he says, let me do that, then the wide receivers, what about us? What are you doing to us? Why are you taking our snaps and our
taking food off our table?
Yeah, okay.
But
so, again, it's clarified the receiving rotation because James Conner's not really a split out kind of, he'll just catch balls out of the backfield.
But let me ask you this. You don't think this is coaches speak? So what's he supposed to say?
Wink?
Yeah.
No, every week Wink puts somebody in the Hall of Fame that they're about to play.
Exactly.
Remember, he put Baker Mayfield in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
And Baker put him under. He did him in.
So what's he supposed to say? Yeah, James Conner's good, but he ain't Le'Veon. Yeah. I mean, Le'Veon, of course he's going to hype him up, make it feel good, and then put that thigh out to it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about that.
You want a case of doing it?
No, I do not.
Why?
I don't care enough about it.
Why? Don't worry about it. I mean, see, this is why I will never be able to get my due back, because you won't bet. The only thing you want to bet, I don't care about it. You care about everything. You love football. You're going to be watching this game.
I will.
Well, don't you want to watch a little bit more knowing you got a couple of cases to do right?
Am I supposed to just give it back to you?
No, you're not giving it. You picking the Steelers, I'm picking the Ravens.
Remember what the late, great Tex Schramm once said about the NFL? That you can't legislate intelligence, so I can't legislate it on this show. You make foolish bets. I can't stop you.
No.
I can't legislate. I can't make rules that you can't make foolish bets.
So
I don't make bets on things I don't care about.
So what? So in other words, what you're telling me, I'm gonna have to get every case back by betting on the Cowboys, because seemingly that's the only thing you care about.
I care about a lot of different things.
No, you don't. And Tom Brady. Oh, do we got due on this one?
Yeah, we have some other outstanding bets. Oh, you want due on this?
Yeah.
I'll do one case on this.
Go.
Yeah, okay. You don't say that with any conviction. I think you just walked right into your own trap.
No. I want a case of due. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. We get it down to 8.
After you slept on it and had a vision from above?
We got a case of due on Saturday night.
We have no due.
Hold on. What about LeBron going to Portland?
No.
But in Portland.
He already lost there once.
Okay, that's what
Surely he can get even.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we'll get that due.
No, sorry. Out. 9 cases.
Well, speaking of that, will Aaron Rodgers pull the upset over Tom Brady on Sunday? We'll discuss that with Rob Parker next.
No mercy.
Sunday night, it will be Brady versus Rodgers, and we are joined now by Rob Parker. Rob, earlier this week, you picked the Packers to win. Tell us why.
I'm still staying there. Did you see Brady last week against the terrible Buffalo Bills? He had 0 touchdowns. 0, Skip. This is the decline.
Wait a second. He threw for 320.
We don't care about yards. It's not about yards. This is like the
Buffalo Bills had allowed the 4th fewest yards in the league. Go ahead.
Here we go. This is the same thing you talked about in the Super Bowl. While Nick Foles was cashing it for touchdowns, you talk about Brady throwing for 500 yards. He left points on the field. You know that in the first half. He sure did.
He scored the most points a losing team has ever scored. 33.
But he still left
points. Say that again. Say it one more time. He had to score the most. What? That's what I want to say it one more time.
Say it one more time.
Say it slowly so we can hear you.
His coach's defense
allowed
that's not what 41
you
points.
That's not what you said. But the bottom line is, along with Brady's decline, and we start to see that in the game against Buffalo. Yes, it's coming. I've seen it. The mountain is not that far. This might be it against the Packers.
God, you're just hoping against hope.
But here's the other thing. That defense is horrible. The Patriots defense, 25th in the league, 27th against the pass. Can we talk about, Shannon, some of the quarterbacks who have lit up the Patriots this year? Blake Bortles, the guy they want to run out of Jacksonville.
Thank you.
376 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Reach. Go.
Right?
Yep. Keep going.
All right.
How about your guy, Matt Stafford?
Matt Stafford. I picked that game. He lit them up.
Yep.
Andrew Luck, 365, 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
Trubisky had 333 yards, couple touchdowns.
Whoa.
And Mahomes, 352, 4 touchdowns.
And scored 31 points in the second half at Foxborough.
Right. So there's no doubt in my mind that Aaron Rodgers can light this defense up and beat Tom Brady. So, number one, all of my hopes and dreams ride on Aaron Rodgers because he's a difference maker. He's that kind of guy.
Really?
And then number 2 will be the defense, and I'm talking about the Patriots' terrible defense. And number 3, Tom Brady. This will be Tom Brady. This will be like a bad night for Tom Brady. I'll say 1 touchdown, 2 or 3 picks.
Would you go 3?
No, I'm not going 3. I said 2
or 3.
I'll
like
say
Shannon.
2. I'll say 2.
You like cover. You hedge your bet like 2 or 3. Oh no, it's 2.
1 touchdown, 2 picks, and the Pack. They beat the Patriots.
I'll go 3 picks for another dinner if you want to do that.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No. No, we can't legislate
not-
bad
come on.
decisions. We're not going to legislate bad
You're not gonna let. Come on, Shannon. You're gonna make sure I don't do that.
Yeah, I'm going with the Pack also because I believe this will be the game the Pack will look back and says, okay, when they're in the playoffs, it was the game in Foxborough that got us heading in the right direction. I agree with you, Rob. I think the Patriots defense, now they do give up a lot of yards, but the one thing is that they normally keep people out of the end zone. I believe Aaron Rodgers, in order to win this game, you can't kick field goals, especially in Foxborough, and beat this football team. I believe they score. I believe they get, I said 31-30. So I'm going to stick with that score. But you also, when Tom Brady, you got to force him to kick some field goals like they did in Buffalo. He had an off night. Now, I don't believe he'll play as bad as he played against Buffalo, but I think the Packers defense can coax him into maybe a pick. I don't think he's going to throw two. I can't remember last time Brady threw two interceptions. Well, a couple of weeks ago, but as Skip would say, that was the defense's fault. You know, that was Coach Belichick.
Of course.
Malcolm Butler didn't play in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady was still
Did he throw any
rehashing it.
interceptions in the Super Bowl?
No, but he gave up
None.
gave up the big fumble.
Turnover.
Was
He
that wait a second. Was that an unforced error?
I don't
no,
care.
that
Hold
was
on
a
to-
forced
hold-
error.
hold on to the
That was a
football.
great defensive play by Brandon Graham as opposed to a bad offensive play
With
by the
2 minutes to
quarterback.
go,
Number
hold
one
on
thing
to the
they
football.
the number one thing they teach the quarterback is ball security in the pocket.
Yeah,
So
but when the quarterback is trying to overcome a horrendously bad defense in a shootout, he might take a chance and a risk that he wouldn't normally have
That's
to
what
take
that's-
because the other team's already scored 41.
that's what they're saying. It's like, man, if you'd have got them touchdowns in the first half, we wouldn't be having to try to stop this team in the second half.
And Skip, you got to admit, go back and rewatch the film, the tape. He left about 10 points on the field. At least 10
More.
points.
10 points.
Yes.
And he dropped the touchdown.
33.
And he dropped
And
the
he
touchdown.
dropped the
So
touchdown. That
you-
should have been like a.
He didn't drop the touchdown.
Yeah, that was total.
That was like
All
a
he had to do was
5-yard pass.
catch that ball, turn up field, and keep
Oh,
going.
yeah, he
Turn
runs a
up.
4-flat 40,
Nah,
Tom Brady
no,
does.
Hey, all he had to do was outrace Malcolm Jenkins to the end zone.
It would have made it.
Malcolm Butler. So what's your score? 31-30. What's your score?
I got 27-17.
You got Tom Brady scoring only 17 against the Green Bay
Yes,
Packers?
Plaxico Burress.
Okay, so you're going Plaxico. So, Rob Parker, I actually think you've made a pretty sound bet here. I can give you 5 good reasons why Aaron Rodgers and company should win this game. I can give you one reason why I believe New England will win this game, and that one reason is the only number 12, and that's Tom Brady at Foxborough. He's just not going to lose to Aaron Rodgers. He lost to him head-to-head once at Lambeau, and you see him walking off the field. I keep seeing the clip this week. He was yelling a really bad word, as loud as he could yell
Did he
it.
shake Aaron's hand?
He yelled
We
it.
know he don't
He
like
doesn't
to
shake
hand when he
anybody's
loses.
hands.
He's a sore loser.
He is
Tom
the
Brady.
Michael Jordan of the
Oh,
NFL.
here we go.
Well, that's what he is.
No, he's not.
No, Michael Jordan's undefeated in big games.
Oh.
Tom Brady lost to Eli twice.
Tom Brady's only won 5 Super Bowls.
No, but he's lost to
and he's
Eli
played in
twice.
8. So
And a
his-
backup quarterback.
Tom
Eli
Brady's-
twice and a backup quarterback.
Tom Brady's actually played in more finals or championship games than Michael Jordan played in because he was 6-0. Tom's played in 8 Super Bowls.
Would you rather be 6-0 or 5-3?
Would you believe that Tom Brady has had 5 game-winning drives in Super Bowls and had a 6th that got canceled by the luckiest play in the history of the Super Bowl, the David Tyree face mask catch?
We're not talking about it. We already discussed
Okay, I'm just
that Bill
telling you.
Belichick was responsible for this.
So I've given Shannon Sharpe, the Hall of Famer, all these points because, listen, Aaron Rodgers' defense is playing at a significantly higher level than Belichick's defense. They were
Which
really
is shocking.
good.
Right.
They were really good at the Rams. They sacked Jared Goff 5 times.
They coulda won that
They were
game.
all over him. And that Jair Alexander, that kid that's playing corner for them, he's, as Belichick raved about, he doesn't rave about kids like he did about that kid this week. He's going to be a star.
Well, like you said, Ty Montgomery sabotaged Aaron Rodgers. Like you said, Coach Belichick sabotaged Tom Brady.
Okay, well, that was ultimate sabotage, to keep the guy off the field for 4 quarters.
Well, to keep the guy off the field for the last 2 minutes of the ball game.
Well, who's to say he would have pulled it off?
Because that's what he does.
Oh,
we
really?
know he would have done it.
He's got 2 game-winning drives in his whole playoff career. And by the way, his playoff career features 1 Super Bowl and only one 9 years ago. And you guys act like he's a godsend.
Yeah.
Like,
But even when you talk about Tom Brady, it's more. Have you watched the Tom Brady highlight video? Adam Vinatieri has 30 minutes in it.
Yeah.
Because it's always a field goal. That's
those-
the only way he can do it. He never throws a game-winning touchdown.
Malcolm Butler saved
Yes.
Tom Brady's career.
Saved his bacon.
Saved his bacon. Did he not,
He
Skip
did. He
Bayless?
saved his bacon.
do you realize in that game in the fourth
Oh,
quarter?
here we go.
Listen to this.
Here we go.
Tom Brady threw for 124 yards in only the fourth quarter, going 13 of 16 against the Legion of Boom? Are you kidding
What
me?
did Coach Belichick's defense do? 0 points.
Zero.
Tom Brady controlled the football the whole
Same
fourth
thing, the
quarter.
Atlanta Falcons. What did the defense do to get them back into that?
Just a minute.
Yep.
Zero.
So Aaron Rodgers goes into Foxborough with a better defense, a better receiving core. There's no Devontae Adams on the Patriots. They just don't have it. They used to have Gronk, but he missed practice on Thursday because he got a bad back and a bad ankle. And as the great Shannon
gonna
Sharpe
play?
points out, I don't even know. He'll probably try, but he can't bend and he can't stretch for balls. So if Tom Brady doesn't hit him right here, he's not going to get it.
Well, he should. If you're the GOAT, you should put it right there.
Okay.
Well,
he
Wes
puts a whole
Welker
lot of
would
them right there.
disagree with you that he'll get it. He could throw the ball right.
That was good.
I told you that's the only bad throw he's had in what is he? 27 and 10, 37 playoff games. He made
Shannon.
one bad throw.
Hey.
One bad throw.
Skip and I were doing the show, the old show, on that Monday after the Super Bowl, and Skip, I give it to you.
I came to
He
play.
came to play,
I
and
just
he
sucked
said
it up.
that-
I said that was a bad throw.
It was a bad
Even
throw.
though many in Patriot Nation thought that Wes Welker should have caught it. He got his hands on it and didn't catch it.
Rob, did you know this? That Tom Brady has played 37 playoff games. In 23 of those playoff games, Coach Belichick's defense has allowed 0 points in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
And do you know why?
That's unbelievable.
Tom Brady just takes over the fourth quarter and owns it.
This is not
Controls the
make it
football.
take it, Skip Bayless.
Yes, it
you don't
is.
get to score a touchdown and keep the ball. You got to kick to the opposing team.
Yeah. What's the time of possession? It's always like.
That's an incredible stat. It tells you about
in 37 playoff games, the Patriots defense is allowing 2.9 points per fourth quarter.
And the other one is, isn't it something like the 41 points they gave up? That was the first time a Patriots team had given up 40 points in a playoff. Aaron Rodgers played on a team 5 times.
3
Right?
40-point games
So
and 5 37
right?
more.
Am I
Who has
right?
the better running game on Sunday? Aaron Rodgers. He's got
Yeah.
Aaron Jones.
If Sonny
and
Michel
Jamal
comes,
Williams.
would Sonny Michel
I
play?
don't think he's going to play.
Okay.
I think
But
they're
if we
going to
got-
have a kick returner as the primary.
So who
running
are you
back.
picking in this
Or
game?
Darryl-
You still picking the Patriots?
Listen, I tell you I keep trying to warn you guys, you don't bet against the real number 12, especially in Foxborough. Usually you don't bet against him in Super Bowls. You got lucky in the last Super Bowl. Well, you just did.
What do you mean I got lucky?
Because Belichick sabotaged Brady.
Don't do that,
Well, he
Skip.
did.
Stop
He
saying
kept
that.
Malcolm Butler on the sideline.
Sabotage?
If Malcolm Butler plays the whole game, what happens?
Malcolm Butler-
There's no way
But
they
wait a
score
minute, you
41.
mean to tell me that Bill Belichick didn't want to win a 6th
He
Super
did
Bowl?
not.
Yes,
I
he
told
did.
you that. He did not. He should have been fired after the game, and I'm serious. I'm not exaggerating. That was a fireable offense. To
It's
give up
not
41.
5 Super Bowls.
No, fireable was what happened in Atlanta with 1st and 10 at the 22, up by 8.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You, Shannon, you kneel down 3 straight times, kick a field goal, you're up by 11. That Super Bowl's done. That's bad coaching.
Yeah, or Pete Carroll
Yes.
throwing the ball. That's fireable.
That's a
5
fireable
Super
Not
Bowls.
offense.
fireable.
Yes, it is.
Beast Mode had carried the ball from the 1 yard line, 5 times during the regular season and not made it.
How did
4
they get to the
times?
one yard line? He had just run for 12 or 13 yards to get there. Shannon, he had over 100 yards in that Super Bowl game.
I like the play call.
Of course you do. Yeah, I bet you do.
Malcolm Butler made the greatest break on a ball you'll ever see under pressure in a Super Bowl.
Save Tom Brady's bacon.
Yeah.
Save your bacon.
After Tom Brady had led yet another game-winning drive.
I'm glad you said that because that's what Ray Allen did. After LeBron James scored 16 fourth quarter points, has 4. You know what? I'm glad you said that, Skip.
I'm glad you said that because LeBron James in the last 3 minutes of that game had 3 unforced error turnovers
60.
where even I'm saying, what are you doing,
now
LeBron?
see.
And then, wait a second, LeBron James takes the 3 to tie and bricks it. He LeBricks it so badly. Long rebound out to Chris Bosh, kick it into the corner of Ray Allen, and I fall on the floor.
No, but don't forget the other part of that. One thing I'm going to say. Who was not in that game during that
Tim
sequence?
Duncan was not in.
Pop, everybody says he's the greatest coach. Tim Duncan's not there for a rebound, Skip?
So, Sunday night, I have Tom Brady 30, Green Bay 28, and that's what it'll be. Tom Brady 30 to 28.
Tom Brady.
And I'm going to hit you with one last number. Tom Brady at home is 111 and 18. 111 wins and only 18 losses. That's who you're betting against. Good luck with that.
So in other words, he has lost at home.
Well, he's
Well,
lost
a lot of
18
those
times.
wins are against the Jets, the Bills, the
Dolphins.
Dolphins. Those are where all those wins are piled up. I bet you if you go back and do what we do with Matthew Stafford, how many of those wins come against teams that finish over 500? Not many.
How many was that involved?
Which one is that? Oh.
Don't tell him. Shh. Rob was pointing to that thing behind us. So how many of those wins came via that?
Spygate.
Oh, Oh, so you're trying to tip him off?
No. Ain't no tip. Ain't no tip.
We don't know how many that they had the defensive signals of the other team. Skip,
Well,
you know that's a fact.
It is Belichick. I agree.
Don't do that. No. So Belichick, Coach Belichick is the only one that benefited from it.
Well,
But who would help?
Wouldn't
Wouldn't it help the quarterback if you know what the defensive signals for the other team?
Skip.
He doesn't need any help.
You know
111 and 18, and it'll be 112 and 18 by
Rob,
late
what do you
Sunday
think
night.
the likelihood
And we are
that Aaron
finishing
Rodgers
this
can throw one
conversation
touchdown
house
in the
divided.
playoffs and
We got
win a
Patriots.
Super Bowl?
We got Packers. Rob, thank you so much for joining us.
Sort of thing.
Tim Hardaway is here
Thanks.
next. We'll get his take on the Warriors, Celtics,
Good
and
guys
LeBron
over here.
and more coming up.
Good guys.
Over
bad
here,
guys.
we got it.
No mercy.
Our next guest played 13 years in the NBA. He was a 5-time All-Star with over 15,000 points and 7,000 assists in his career. He also had one of the best crossovers of all time. Tim Hardaway, welcome to Undisputed.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Man could light it up. Well,
The original crossover. King.
Yes, the original crossover king.
Oh, so-
I didn't carry. I didn't do none of that. I just came down, boom, bam. I'm the original crossover king. All right? Let that be known.
All right, Jim, well, let's start with the Celtics. They handed the Bucks their first loss of the season last night, making a franchise record 24 three-pointers. Both Draymond Green and Kevin Durant said this week that the Celtics are the biggest threat to the Warriors. So, do you agree with that?
Yes, I do agree with that. And they did it without Brown on the court last night. He had a foot injury. Hopefully he's all right. But they came out and played very well last night. Kyrie took the initiative last night and just, from Heinsohn, one of the guys that really is commentary for him, he was like, yo, you got to get in shape. And he took that to heart. He got in shape, got his game back, and is getting it back from injuries, just like Hayward is doing. And they're going to be a force to reckon with. It's real early in the season. Real early, and they still have a lot of things to gel with. They got to get Gordon Hayward back involved in the system and everything. But they're going to be a team to reckon with going down the stretch.
But let's be real. Injury is the only thing that can stop the
Injuries.
Warriors. That's it. Ain't nobody beating them. They might win a game, but you're not beating them 4 times in 2 weeks.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, Shannon. You have a Boston Celtics team that lines up with Golden State Warriors straight down the line. You got a team that is long, athletic, and you have a team that can switch out on Steph Curry and Tatum and Brown and Horford, and that keep them in front of them. You got to make it tough for him to make shots.
Right.
That's all. You're not going to stop him,
Right.
but you just got to make it tough and make it hard for him to make shots, and that's what Boston has that a lot of other teams don't have.
so maybe they could win 2 games.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. No matter what they say, Golden State Warriors say, you got Kevin Garnett, you got Steph Curry, you got Klay Thompson.
Durant.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
So you got Kevin Durant, and nobody in this league can stop Kevin Durant.
Nope.
Nobody. He has a jump shot, mid-range, 3-point range that he can shoot over anybody, anytime, anywhere. And that's what you got to have, and they know that. That's their card. That's the Golden State Warriors card, and they know that they can use that card anytime, any day.
You were 6 feet tall. He's 7 feet tall.
Correct.
And shooting jump shots.
Over people. With ease.
With
With
the
very ease. And a lot of people, when you look at them, they say it's a myth that you can only shoot 3-pointers. You got to shoot, it's threes and layups and dunks and free throws. Kevin Durant is the best mid-range jump shooter in this game today. And
maybe ever.
If ever. And the Houston Rockets banked on him that they saying we're going to make more threes than you make mid-range jump shots.
Right.
And they lost.
Yeah. I thought they had him on the ropes there a little bit.
They had him on the ropes, but you
CP3
keep shooting threes and missing all those threes, and Kevin Durant coming down and Steph Curry coming down and making shot after shot after shot. You can't beat that.
So the best thing that happened to the Boston Celtics last night is they do have one nuclear weapon. One weapon not afraid of any Golden State Warrior. One weapon who beat Golden State at Golden State in Game 7 without Kevin Durant, but that's Kyrie Irving. He did make that shot that closed the deal. Last night, for the first time this year, he started looking like Kyrie to me because the first few games he looked a little tentative, a little bit like playing on ice because he didn't trust his knee quite.
Right.
And I'm still worried about long-term that knee because it's 2 surgeries now.
Major.
Major surgeries, and yet he made 6 out of 12 threes. He scored 28, and he looked like a difference maker. And they started vibing and feeding off him. And then they make 24 threes. They were one short of the record. Well, that's Golden State-esque, so they're saying, well, we can do that too. They're actually deeper than Golden State, but they're not deeper in talent than Golden State. And yet that coach is pretty good. He can figure some things out.
Yeah, he's
very good.
Because they kind of have that Laker issue of they have too many good players,
Right.
but the Boston players are on another level from the Laker players.
Right, true.
So you got to figure out rotations because now they're just jammed with because as Hayward starts to get, he had 18 last night, so he started getting his legs underneath him.
Right.
Well, they almost have too many players for their own good, but I think that coach will figure that out at some point.
That's what he has to do. I'd rather have too many players for my own good so I can figure it out. And Brad Stevens is doing a great job with Kyrie and not playing him a lot of minutes.
Nope.
He sat him out part of the third quarter at the end of the third quarter and some of the fourth quarter. And he brought him back in with like 3 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. So he's doing a great job with subbing him in and giving him rest and resting his knee because he know that the prime objective is to get him to the end of the season, in the playoffs, 100%.
So one quick aside on Greek Freak. I watch him a lot, and I see all the sensational plays, the highlight plays, but down the stretch of those games, like the one last night, he just doesn't make that play to win that game.
It's
and he had
point-blank layup.
Okay, he had two shots to get them back in the game, make it a game, take it to overtime. I don't know. I don't know what you've seen in him so far, but I'm not seeing that guy yet.
Great player. He is that guy, but you know what? At that particular point in time in the game, sometimes you got to find your teammates and you got to trust your teammates. Middleton, sharpshooter. He's a sharpshooter. When you need a three, he gonna give you a three. When you need a bucket, he gonna give you a bucket. You just got to trust your teammates, and I think he's getting caught up in the hype of I want people to accept me as who I am and the Greek Freak. And
he wants to be thought of as Kevin Durant,
correct,
LeBron,
exactly,
these tops.
Exactly.
These top threes.
And the bigger picture is winning basketball games. You could do what you do and play the way you play, but you got to start finding your guys and start and trusting your teammates to get you over that hump too.
So, how far does LeBron James take these Lakers?
Everybody needs to relax, first of all.
Okay.
I'm going to take a card out of Aaron Rodgers. Relax. It's just 8 games into the season. 8 games into the season. We got a long season, 82 games. He always has a notorious start with his teams. When he first went to Cleveland, Miami, back to Cleveland, now here with the Lakers. The guys got to figure him out. He has to figure his guys out. On the offensive end, they all right. Don't worry about the offensive end. Let's worry about the defensive end. Everybody need to play defense and understand what we need to do to stop these guys from scoring easy buckets, easy layups, straight
wide open threes,
point blank blow-bys, not being in position to stay in front of your guys. That's what the Lakers need to do.
Are they capable of doing that?
Yes, they are very capable of doing. They did it last year without LeBron. They played better defense, at the beginning of the season without LeBron. That's what they got to get to now. Forget about offense. Let's worry about defense and stop giving these other teams, 50 percentage points, 55 percentage points early in the first half, and then you got to work our way back from 15, 20 points down to come back and win the game. They kicking themselves in the butt at that particular time in the game. If we start off by playing defense from the get-go, we give ourselves a chance to win at the end of the game, and we'll be fresh at the end of the game. That's what they need to concentrate.
Who's the closer for this team? Is it LeBron or one of the kids?
Well, that's what they have to find. I don't know. LeBron wants to be the closer. He always wants to be the closer. You have to find, Josh Hart. You got to find him. You have to find Guzman. You got to find those guys because they
need to stop talking about fight. Now, we know who the closer is, but we need an additional closer. We need someone else if they take the ball out of LeBron's hand.
Right, exactly.
We know who the closer is.
Exactly.
Wait a second.
I know.
If you have a closer, you don't need an additional closer.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Need a 1A and a 1B?
Everybody has an additional closer on their team. That you go to that you have confidence in to get them the ball that's going to make the shot because at times you're going to get double teamed.
I think Luke Walton's having second thoughts about LeBron being the primary closer because down the stretch the other night, he called 3 straight plays in the last minute 2 for Brandon Ingram, 1 for Kyle Kuzma. And I was like, what are you doing?
Did you not hear what he said? Did you not hear his reasoning for doing that?
You realize these aren't practice games. These aren't preseason. These count.
Exactly. So we got to put them in a situation where the games count to see. We've seen everybody could close in practice.
Right.
We
no
saw
pressure.
LeBron close in practice.
No, you saw
There's no pressure, but you seen LeBron closing games too now.
3 of them last year in the playoffs.
I saw 5 straight early losses that he should have closed. Well, he just should have. Am I right?
So
They're going back to Portland.
Did Toronto happen? Did Indiana happen? Did Boston happen?
Hey, that was last year. You got to update your resume.
Don't do that.
He doesn't have a co-star anymore. He doesn't have a second star.
That's what they're trying to find right now.
They're
trying to find that right now.
Right.
And by the end of the season, they will find that.
Yeah.
They will be in the playoffs.
You realize this is called the Western Conference versus
And
the Eastern Conference, so you can't just tread water while you're experimenting.
We're in Hollywood. We've already got Denzel to sign on in the A role. So now what we're trying to do is get a supporting star to come along with Denzel.
Really?
That's how it works in the movie biz, Skip.
Skip, it's gonna work
Denzel
out.
is not 3-6 in the finals.
You
I
know
got to
what?
tell you, he's
Hold on.
not.
So how
He
many-
is not.
if you don't mind
he
me
is
asking-
undefeated.
Let me ask you a
Denzel Washington is undefeated.
Let me ask you a question. He's won some Oscars, right?
Yeah, he's
but
Michael
But he
Jordan.
lost some too, right? So is he undefeated in Oscars?
He got robbed.
No, don't do this.
Well, seriously, he got robbed.
I believe he did. I believe for
He
Malcolm
did get
X, he
robbed.
got
Yeah,
robbed.
that's
Yes,
true.
yes. There are some
Thank
times
you.
he should have won.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how far does this team go then? What's realistic?
Depending on what seed they come in, I'm thinking they come in anywhere from 5 to 8, around that. If they get Portland in the first round, even if they get, I say, the Pelicans in the first round,
Think
they
so?
might
They can
go.
win around.
They can run around. Yes, they can.
You got them with the 3 seed?
I said
But
they're
you're
gonna win
having
around.
real
I
second
don't care.
thoughts.
I don't care what. Didn't LeBron tell you last year he didn't care about no seed? He said when I show up to your building, it's a problem.
Yeah.
So I don't care the seed. It can be a
He
busted
didn't in
seed.
the East, but he cares about it in the West.
I tell you this: if they get Golden State, if they come in 8 and they get Golden State, they're not winning.
Well, I say that would be
I tell you that.
game
We
over.
ain't gonna be 8 seed.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
We're not gonna be the 8 seed.
I already
Right,
told
so they will make the playoffs, but they got to start learning and start playing with one another.
Avoid Golden State at all
Yeah,
costs.
yes, avoid them if they make it to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, then we have no choice. But
Yes.
we don't want them in the first round.
We don't.
Nope.
Okay. I
Tim,
got it.
thank you so much
Way
for
to go,
joining
Tim.
us.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having me.
Switching gears, who will win the NFL MVP? We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Now back to the NFL. Patrick Mahomes is the betting favorite to win MVP. He's been on fire this year, leading the league in touchdown passes and yards. Todd Gurley has the second best odds and is leading the league in rushing. They're followed by a bunch of veteran quarterbacks with Breeze, Rivers, Rodgers, and Brady. So Shannon, who would be your favorite pick right now?
Pat Mahomes, because he has it all. He has wins, and even when you win the game, this still is a stat award. He's on pace to throw for 5,000 yards and 52 touchdowns. So that in and of itself is probably going to be enough to get it done. Todd Gurley is fairly close, but the thing with Todd, unless he breaks LT's touchdown from scrimmage record, Jared Goff is going to split some of the votes with him because he's also winning and he's going to have nice stats. Drew Brees has nice stats, but here's the thing, Skip. They don't lean on Drew as much as they once did. In 3 of the last 4 games, he's thrown for less than 200. He's thrown for 220 or less yards. So that's going to hurt him. He's going to win, but at the end of the day, it's about winning and stats. And Pat Mahomes is the only guy that has both currently, over 5,000 yards. Because if you remember, Skip, in 1984, Eric Dickerson set the NFL rush record with 2105. But Dan Marino threw for 5,000 yards and 48 touchdowns, and guess who won the MVP? Dan did. And that's what we could see again. It's still the game is set up for the quarterback to succeed unless you have one of these outlier seasons. LT rushing for having 31 total touchdowns, that's an outlier season. Adrian Peterson going for 2,097, single-handedly dragging the team to the playoffs, that's an outlier season. But when a guy throws for 5,000 yards and 50-plus touchdowns, I say 100 times out of 100, he's going to win the MVP if his team wins.
So he is running away with MVP.
Running. He's like Usain Bolt. I told you, Skip, I told you earlier, he Usain Bolt. In 2000, Rio hit his chest.
So help me out here. What happened when Patrick Mahomes went? What happened when Patrick Mahomes went to Foxborough? What happened that
They
night?
won.
Who won?
New England won.
Oh, New England won.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So what we gonna do?
Wait,
with
Tom
352?
Brady outgunned Patrick Mahomes in that game because Tom Brady in the fourth quarter threw for 182 yards.
Okay, what's Tom Brady's
won
record?
a shootout.
What's Tom Brady's record?
Wow, it's 6-2 and it's
Okay,
about to
what's
be
Pat
7-2.
What's Tom?
It's one better, but it's a long. We're only halfway home.
What about the yardage and touchdowns?
So, would you believe that if Tom Brady wins on Sunday night, the reigning MVP is going to creep right back in the middle of the playoff race because he would have outgunned both Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers on big stage night games, right?
Okay, but it's still a stat award.
He
has 10 fewer. He has 10 more touchdowns and 1 fewer interception.
Help me out. Who has by far the highest degree of difficulty of all these candidates? Help me out. Help me out.
No.
Who has to overcome an awful defense? Who lost Sony Michel? Who lost Julian Edelman for the first 4 games? Who has lost Rob Gronkowski to becoming a broken down shell of himself? Nope, seriously, help me out here.
Yep.
Highest degree of difficulty is the reigning MVP, Tom Brady.
But unfortunately, this is not gymnastics or platform diving, so degree of difficulty is not going to come in.
Who has the best weapons in the league? Would it be Patrick Mahomes?
You didn't make that argument. You didn't make that argument in 2007 when Tom Brady threw for 5,050 touchdowns. You didn't say he had a degree of difficulty. You said he's playing the best football.
Okay, but we didn't do this debate.
Oh yeah, no. But you did do it. You did it. I remember.
You do not.
I remember those cold pizza.
2018.
Yeah.
And by the way, Jared Goff, as you said, Todd Gurley splitting votes.
Yeah.
Do they not have a lot of weapons around them?
But
do they not have a really good defense to lean on?
It might be a situation like last year. Todd Gurley could easily win Offensive Player of the Year, and Mahomes win the MVP. But Skip, it's going to be hard for me to believe that Patrick Mahomes will continue to win. He throws 50 touchdowns, has 5,000 yards, and him not win the MVP. You know that's a virtually impossible.
What if they happen to lose a game and Tom Brady wins out and has the tiebreaker? What would you say then?
Pat Mahomes, unless Pat Mahomes falls off a cliff, Pat Mahomes will be the 2018 league's MVP. You know that? Because
well, it may be because of Brady hate or Brady burnout or Brady resentment or jealousy or whatever it is.
Let's just say he doesn't stay on the same pace. He's averaging about 3 touchdowns a game. Let's say he falls down to 2. That's still 41 touchdowns, Skip, and still around 5,000 yards. But with his defense being, shaky, he's going to have to put up a lot of points. He's going to have to throw for a lot of yards. Skip, unless he gets injured, or knock on wood, he doesn't get injured, or he drops off a cliff, he's going to win the MVP. You know that, I know that.
I don't know that. I think it's just starting. And
let's put some do on it.
I'm not going to put any
Why?
on that because I don't know how it's going to play out. I got to let it start to shake out here a little bit. But you are completely eliminating the reigning MVP, and he doesn't deserve it.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking I'm going to go to Vegas, and I'm going to play blackjack. I'm going to say, okay, let me see the hand. Let me see if I get blackjack, and then I'll bet. You can't do that, Alex. Anybody could do that. I want to see it shake out. I'm putting my money,
I'm not going to bet against Brady hate because it's a force.
Don't do that.
And you are the king of it.
Don't do that. I ain't no voter. I used to be a voter, and I voted for Tom.
Who more impressive record, Brady's 2-loss record or Mahomes' 1-loss? Help me out. Well, help me out. More impressive.
Who's been the most impressive player, Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes?
Tom Brady.
Skip.
Well,
Pat Mahomes has done something no player has done. Tom Brady's in the same era. Tom Brady has never had 7 consecutive 300 passing yard games. Is he not playing in this era? Is he not playing currently?
What do you think Tom Brady would do in Kansas City with those weapons? He would be throwing parties.
Remember?
It would be 2007 all over again.
Okay, so guess what? He threw a party. So now Pat Mahomes is throwing a bigger party. Now you mad.
I'm not mad.
You mad, bro?
No.
Don't do that. Let that man have his time.
I'm not mad because Tom Brady beat Patrick Mahomes head-to-head in a shootout. It was 43-40. And you're just sweeping it under the carpet.
So you take one game.
Yeah.
Look at the body of work.
It was the game.
What about the body of work?
I think I look back at the first half of the NFL season. That was the game.
Oh, stop it, Scott. You would because Tom Brady won.
Well, 182 yards in the fourth quarter. Is that good?
Oh, my goodness.
Huh? You can throw all those 5,000 yards at me you want to. 182 in the fourth quarter.
And he lost 2 games. So what did he do in those other fourth quarters that he lost?
And by the way, Belichick's defense in the second half gave up 31 points, and Tom Brady still won the game.
How many points did
How
they give up?
is that possible?
How many did they give up in the
That's
first?
MVP quality.
How
right
many
there.
points did they give up in the first half?
Wow.
Because Pat Mahomes' defense gave up 24 points in the first half. 24.
I just care about the outcome.
Exactly. You won. But Pat Mahomes going to win this MVP. Now run tell that.
Well, you can run and tell it all you want. That's the narrative that people want to jump on.
Oh, so now, hold on. What was the narrative last year? A 40-year-old quarterback that we had never seen play like this before because of walking to him had the better year, statistically and win-wise. But Tom Brady won because, as you said, narrative. We've never seen a 40-year-old play like this.
And now we've never seen a 41-year-old play like this.
And we've never seen a 22-year-old do what Pat Mahomes is doing. Seven 300-yard passing game. Has Tom Brady ever done that?
He got the L against Tom Brady.
Has Tom Brady
Did
ever
he get
did
in your
that?
restaurant after that game? Nope. He had
Tom
to sit on
Brady
the
visited
curb.
me twice. Pat Mahomes only seen me once.
Yeah, well, way to go.
And Tom Brady got reservations for Sunday night.
Nope, he does not.
He does.
Should Alabama be worried about their trip to Death Valley tomorrow night? We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. It might be the college football game of the year tomorrow night when #1 Alabama travels to #3 LSU. Bama is about a 2-touchdown favorite, and they've won every game this year by at least 22 points. So, Shannon, what is your prediction?
Roll. Let's get it rolling.
You just roll.
This is the second time in 40 years that a top 4 team has been underdogs at home by double digits.
Way to go, Steve.
And both
Good job.
times, guess who the favorite was?
Who?
Skip? Oh, St. Nick.
Was it?
That was the kick 6 game. It didn't go too well. But Skip, LSU is 88th in total offense, 102 in pass offense.
Right.
The one thing Nick Saban will not let you do is just line up and run the ball down his throat. Now, Tua, we have yet to see Tua in the fourth quarter. I'm hoping we can see Tua in the fourth quarter. That would be really nice.
Nah. It's not going to happen.
He's thrown less than 10 passes in the second half. I got Alabama winning comfortably, but I don't know if they cover because the average.
You don't know if they cover
But here's-
14?
Skip, here's the thing.
What?
In the first half, the score is normally 39-7 in Alabama's favor. But when we take Tua out and we put the backups in, we got to get them some playing time. They get that old backdoor cover. But Alabama get out, let this thing look real pretty early.
You think so?
Tua go ahead and cement this Heisman Trophy. 29-0. That's what touchdown interception ratio going to be after this game.
So, the Bama cakewalk continues.
Don't do that, Skip. That's the
LSU.
3 team in the country. That's the 3rd-ranked team in the country.
It won't be after Saturday
Of course
night.
not.
Yeah, because it's going to get annihilated at home. The problem is LSU cannot score on Alabama. Joe Burrow from Ohio State, I don't know. They're just not very good on offense.
Yep.
So what are you going to do? Hold them to 35? You might be able to hold them to 35.
Well, you better hope you get a scooping score or a pick 6 or something like a kick return, punt return for a touchdown. Because other than that, Tua, and they say he might be as healthy as he's been at any point in time during the season. Boy, somebody's in a heap of trouble, folks.
I got 35-7, and there's not going to be any backdoor cover here.
Get your roll low.
No mercy.
Thank you for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Keep an eye out for the weekend edition of the podcast tomorrow morning, featuring this week's best segments. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Fox Sports. One of one.